Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard. We are joined here by the Hood Conservative, as we are every Saturday, even though we took last Saturday off. But shout out to everybody in the building. I'm still dotting some I's and crossing some T's. Forgive me, work with me. But all right, I think I got everything. See, I'm not as centered as I would like to be, but anyway, we'll work around it. But shout out to the early bird squad, those making it bright and early before we even get things started here. Shout out to RM, always dropping the comments. Logan JJ, E Capone, who we got in here? Reese from Philly, the Red Dragon. Shout out to you. Shout out to TD Hutch in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to Stoic One. Shout out to who else we got in here. Shout out to Feminine Melanin. Shout out. But all right, so we are back in here. We are back in the building. There's the link right there to the Hood Conservatives channel. Make sure you exercise the links in the chat room. Give them good exercise. Give them some clicks. Thank you again to RM for dropping all of the links. So without further ado, gonna go to Hood Conservative, man. What's going on? Good morning. Mic check. I think you're muted. I think you are muted. Unmute. I just attempted to unmute you and I couldn't. He must have stepped away. Probably thought that. And oh, there you go.
No. I was getting ready to do a whole system reboot. My computer just froze for a few seconds. I was about to have a panic attack.
That happens. That happens right when you go on air. That happens. But I'm glad. Hopefully you good.
No, I think we're okay for now. I think we're fine. We're going to continue.
All right. You sound good, and I know. No feedback, no background noise. Everything you coming through crystal clear. So all systems are a go. But welcome to the show today. We got a good one. When I was listening to the links, or the links that you sent me, in preparation and everything, King Sigma's, and this is King Sigma's statement, quote, phrase that he popularized sort of popped in my head. Wow, you always say that, these aren't our women. We shouldn't use the term our women. That sort of popped in my head when I was listening to a lot of the videos, a lot of the clips that you sent me. But and most of what we talk about, we kind of know what we're going to talk about going in. At least we know where it's starting, have an idea of where the destination may end up. But I sometimes at the beginning of the show throw you a curveball, something that wasn't necessarily planned. The our women concept that gets thrown out there. What are your thoughts on that when people say we shouldn't use the term our women? What's your thoughts and perspective on that?
Functionally, the only women I would consider mine would be my daughters when they actually become women. And even then, they're not mine in that, I can't claim ownership of them. Only in the adult parent sense, parent-child sense can I claim ownership of them. But no, there is no such thing as our women. I don't know that it even benefits Black men to think of it in those terms. The woman you marry is your woman. Everyone else is expendable.
Understood. But do you think that a Hispanic or Latino man, when he's talking about Hispanic and when he's talking about a group of Hispanic and Latino men, talking about or referring to Hispanic and Latino women as a general or collective, do you think they tend to say our women and not think nothing of it?
I haven't heard many examples of that, so I don't know for a fact. I'm sure there's probably one or two guys, because, human nature isn't 100% anything. But in general, I don't know that other races, nationalities, or ethnicities have this concept of our women. Under one circumstance, though, there's only one kind of circumstance where it applies, and it's almost natural when it comes to small immigrant populations. But I don't know if Black Americans can really fit into that same mold or model for, defending our borders. We're not small. We're small, but we're not an immigrant population. We hear.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it applies to Black Americans in the same way it would apply to like that little neighborhood of Cambodian people. Like maybe they can feel, these are our women because there's only 100 of us here. So it's different. Maybe there's a space for that in that context, but I just don't see it generally speaking. No.
So it sounds like your argument is basically in the large structure of America with the melting pot that we have, all the racial mixing, intermingling, interaction, interbreeding, everything, the whole kind of looking at it from a perspective of this group of women, these are our women, is becoming a dying or foreign concept unless you're foreigners in a strange land and you're in a small group and you got this pack type togetherness that we gotta defend our women, gotta protect our women and our children. Outside of that, you think it's pretty much a dead concept in the West, in the country like the United States, more or less.
Yeah, and also there's less benefit for us as opposed to immigrants doing it. When it's that small, homogenous immigrant population, they benefit from playing the our women game. And as I've been trying to explain to guys when I come on these shows every Saturday, Black men, us, we don't benefit from playing the our women game. And so it is what it is. If it worked for us, I wouldn't complain about it so much.
Fair enough. But all right. So we're gonna roll right into it. We're gonna get right into the clips. Now, the first one that came first on the list, and I'll let you set it up. It's something in there about the controversial bell curve that I don't shy away from talking about that on my channel. Sometimes I tiptoe around it because I understand people get feel some type of way about it. But I listened to this one. The chick, she has a little accent. I mean, sometimes some people with certain accents, I sometimes miss the point that they're trying to make, depending on how thick that accent is. But hold on, real quick. Let me pull it up on the screen to make sure you know exactly which one I'm talking about. So I'll let you set it up before we
Well, I do know the one you're referring to because of the whole bell curve thing. I don't have a fully formed opinion on it just yet. I kind of wanted to do like a live review of it while we were here, because this is like groundbreaking racism studies here. I've never seen the bell curve applied to racist behaviors before. So I kind of want to let her explain it, and then we'll walk our way through it with her.
Okay. All right. So gonna roll the not so beautiful bean footage. Let's go. Let's get it.
This is the standard deviation graph. In stats, it's used to show how data spread out to find most of the data points in the middle and the outliers on the side. I've done the same thing for racism, and let's start off with the most common types: gaslighters and colorblind. Gaslighters are convinced that racism no longer exists, or they'll say not everything's about race, even though they hold a bunch of racist stereotypes and beliefs.
Yeah, bro. The bell curve of racism, bro.
Hold on. See, when I listened to this one, I was busy. I was doing something. I put my phone down and I was listening to it. So I didn't really that's why I said I thought it was because the accent was real thick that I didn't really get where she was going. But because I put my phone down and I was listening with earbuds in, and I couldn't see. I didn't see that she had on the screen a bell curve of racism. I didn't see that. This is a whole new thing. This is groundbreaking. This is she's gonna win a Nobel Prize for this one.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something if she actually won the Nobel Prize in racism? Like, do they give Nobel Prizes out for anti-racism? I'm pretty sure they're gonna come up with one.
Well,
but this is great.
No, if you okay, you have to prove something, discover and or prove something. You can win the Nobel Prize for some scientific study or achievement, or if you debunk Einstein's theory of general relativity and replace it with a theory that works better, then yeah, you win the Nobel Prize. So theoretically speaking, if somebody did prove scientifically in the brain, let's say, some aspect of racism to where it's measurable and quantifiable, and we could look at somebody and say this type of person who have these type of neurons that fire this way, that's a person who's going to be racist and have a propensity for this and that, or blah 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 blah. Somebody could, so technically somebody could win a Nobel Prize for proving racism. I feel like it's possible.
I feel like science has moved away from these kinds of behaviors where we like measure the dimples on the back of your skull to see if you're going to be retarded or something like that. Are we regressing now?
That's why I went all the way inside the brain to the neurons. Okay, the dimples on the back of the skull. Like, no, we're not there no more. They weren't doing.
I'm just thinking about that scene from Django. Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And that was the biggest flaw in what he's saying. If you let go of being triggered by it, the biggest flaw in it is that you can't look at the outside of the skull to truly know what's going on in the brain. In the brain. The brain is more complex than the casing that protects it. It's like, so that was the flaw in it. Once you get done being triggered and just try to break down scientifically, you see where the flaw in that science was. But no, it's very possible somebody could tap into the brain and find racism. I think it's possible. But anyway, let's back up a little bit and see, because I don't think she did any neurological work here. I don't think this.
Next will come the anti-racism pill. Be on the lookout. They're going to cure your racism.
Oh, yeah. But yeah.
I'm not joking. I promise you, I am not joking. They're going to come out with a pill to cure racism before we're all old. I'm telling you, while we're still young enough.
It's bigger than that, man. You know about CRISPR, right?
A little bit. I know it's like gene selection, gene editing.
Mm-hmm. They're going to find the racist gene, and they're going to go in and be able to like plug it right out.
Dude, what if they go the opposite direction? What if they find the racism gene and then they make all the genes racism genes? Like, you could build a super soldier. It'd be like Captain Racist America.
All right, let's get back to this peer-reviewed study that we're examining here. All right, I'm gonna back it up a little bit. I'm gonna back it up because now that we got the gist of it, let's really hear what's going on here.
This is the standard deviation graph. In stats, it's used to show how data spread out to find most of the data points in the middle and the outliers on the side. I've done the same thing for racism, and let's start off with the most common types: gaslighters and colorblind. Gaslighters are convinced that racism no longer exists, or they'll say not everything's about race, even though they hold a bunch of racist stereotypes and beliefs. Colorblind folks have forgotten that if you don't see race, you can't fight racism, and you definitely can't change your own racial biases. Although they don't have hateful hearts, this is usually a cop out to remain comfortable in your white privilege because you don't see any need for change. The second most common types. White racists try to present themselves as non racist, but they're just more slick with their racism. They think we don't see them, but in fact, they can't see themselves. A good
Well,
example
I
of a
noticed
white
a
racist
flaw
is Amy.
here. I don't know if it's an ideological problem or maybe it's just in the way she constructed this graph here. But if you look at the bottom, she's got color blindness and gaslighting, right? So and you got to kind of go back a few seconds to see what those bottom, like where her finger is, it says racism under that arrow. And then on the arrow from the left, there's another title for that. But basically, when those two forms of racism combine, it's like racial bias. When racial bias meets actual racism, right? You got peak racism. That should be where the racism is the most virulent. That should be where you have, like, I don't know, lynchings and assaults and people being excluded from society.
Are you saying in the middle? That's where it should be, all of that?
Right, because that's how a bell curve works. Like it's that's where the forces meet, right in the middle. So I'm wondering, like,
well, no. What she's doing, okay, when she says, okay, right here it says colorblind. Some of y'all probably can't see this, but I have a separate screen up real close. Right here it says colorblind. The people that say, oh, I don't see color. Here it says gaslighting. Right here it says kind heart, uninformed mind. Okay, so long story short, the reason the lynching and all of that and burning crosses on the front lawn isn't in the middle right here, because in the bell curve, this represents where the majority of people are. And then so when you stretch it out further, y'all can follow my cursor and just imagine the line going all the way through. When it gets smaller down here, that's going to represent the smaller percentage of people. So these people that'll be all the way down here. Well, hold on, I'll skip ahead without pushing play. See, the people that'll be all there's a clip, the shot I needed. Yeah, see, the people that'll be the people that'll be all the way down here in the smaller portion. These will be the lynchers. She's going to explain how the majority are the I don't see color or gaslighting or colorblind or this or that. That's what she's saying most people are, and they will argue that these people. I mean, this is where you were thinking. You were thinking they were saying that these people are the most dangerous, but the chart isn't. The bell curve isn't based off danger. It's based off percentage of the population that fall right in here. So,
I got you.
Yeah,
I couldn't read a bell curve. Okay, that was my fault.
Yeah. All right. Let's try to figure out where we were at.
No, you went back far. It was closer towards the middle. Yeah, probably around here.
Try to present themselves as non-racist, but they're just more slick with their racism. They think we don't see them, but in fact, they can't see themselves. A good example of a quiet racist is Amy Cooper. She presented herself as progressive. However, she did something incredibly racist. If you're not sure of her story or if you still don't fully understand the white woman tears concept, I strongly encourage you Google her. Kind heart, uninformed mind. These people are more often than not aware when racism happens. It makes them incredibly uncomfortable. They have a bunch of white guilt. However, their white fragility and reluctance to self-educate is slowing them down. The third least common. Loud racists will shamelessly use racial slurs. They fly the older but
since when are white people reluctant to self-educate?
Well read and too comfy. On paper, they're doing everything right.
Well, she would argue that they're reluctant to self-educate about racism that other groups face. I don't think she's saying they're in general reluctant to self-educate, but they're reluctant to self-educate about racism that other groups face. So how that normally plays out is like this. Somebody will ask a question, which could be a legitimate question, and then the person would respond to it by basically saying that it's not my job to teach you about this. I mean, you've probably seen some blow-ups like that where basically yeah, the the black person would charge the white person up with being uninformed or ill-informed about whatever is going on, and they'll say it's not my job to teach you. You need to get equipped with the, you need to do your own research. You need to read. I'm not here to answer all of your questions about what I'm going through in my experience, which I think is counterproductive, because they make videos like this because they want to inform people about the black experience and how black people are affected by white people. So if a white person genuinely asks somebody who's presenting themselves as an expert, hey, well, how does this work? Well, I don't understand this. Or what do you mean I'm what is the word they're saying? Uninformed, kind and uninformed. I forgot what they said. What do you mean I'm a well-read and too comfy? Explain that to me. So if somebody comes wanted to understand your concepts, then yeah, you shouldn't have a problem with explaining and teaching your concepts that you're saying exist and that are real and that are affecting people. So I've seen that like it was a chick named what was her name? I think her channel was called Misogyn War, and she made a video that went semi-viral that was called "Dear White People, it's not my job to teach you about racism" or something like that. I don't know. So yeah,
but like you said though, if they don't have us to teach them about racism, how will they learn properly?
That's why I'm saying the flaw in the whole concept of well read plus too comfy or uninformed. I can't even see what the labels are. The flaw in that, I mean, put it like this: they're if you're in the business of drawing out bell curves of racism, you should be prepared to teach it like a college instructor whenever somebody asks. That's it's just what it is. But anyway, let's roll it.
Right. They're identifying their own racial biases. They're reading all the books. They're calling out the racists. They're buying black. However, sometimes they're just talking too much in the black spaces. Sometimes they center themselves too much. Sometimes they talk over us. Sometimes they talk for us. Sometimes they're too comfortable.
Okay, they're talking about. I think they're talking about the white liberal who, who's about the movement, but once they get in it, they talk too much. They got too much to say. They damn near try to run it, like sort of like Malcolm X speaks on that. He said, beware of the white liberal who wants to be a part of black organizations, but only if they're running it, only if they're telling these black people, these disenfranchised people what to do. They're not genuine about helping this thing that they think is a problem. They just want control over it. I think she was talking about. Go ahead.
Last year during the riots, well, as the riots were kind of like dying down, I covered a story coming out of Portland where so everyone's probably heard of Antifa at this point, and Portland in particular, Antifa is really heavy. So when you would have these BLM protests, there was a story that came out. It actually made the news, like, I don't know, NPR or local Portland newspapers, but Antifa and BLM are beefing on the ground because BLM wants to have like a regular, tame protest where nobody really comes out looking bad. And then all the Antifa guys show up with a pallet of bricks and start burning stuff and they can't control the crowd. And so the BLM guys get chased away and now it's an Antifa party.
Yeah. To the people in the chat saying turn the volume on this video for whatever reason, I can't. That's loud as it get. That's just how the video came. The other clips we play shouldn't be like that. I mean, we're kind of bound by the volume of the clip. I can't adjust that. So it's almost over. So just bear with us a little bit, and we'll be on to the next one.
Lastly, the extreme outliers. I feel like this is very self-explanatory. They're doing hate crimes. They're part of the KKK. You know exactly who I'm talking about. This demographic uses their privilege for change. They're self-educating to unlearn their own racial biases. However, they don't center themselves. They're not white saviors. And usually the only time you hear them speaking about race and racism is when they...
She's elevating your home girl, Jane Elliott.
Yo, that she literally told CJ Pearson, "What you're not a good black man or something like that. Like you don't know what you're saying. White people are speaking for you." Oh my God, it was terrible. That was like so cringe though. But and then this is why I talk about liberals and clown them so hard, because when you really start to pull back the curtain and examine what they believe and who they believe in, it's ridiculous. All right, if you look at this, according to her, the smallest percentage of people on this chart are the good white people. So basically, like, good white people are like the 5%, which is all right. I don't even know how we could function if only 5 or so percent of white folk were decent. But who you consider decent white people is probably a quasi-racist. I'm not going to call her a full-on Bull Connor racist, but she's probably like a quasi Margaret Sanger kind of racism. You know, she's subtle with the racism. She's not going to kill you. She's going to convince you to never have children.
One thing I want to back up on this. This is a question I had. Let's hold up. Before she got all the way over there. No. I just need the image. So okay, yeah. All right. Okay, let's look at okay, right here. This portion right here, that's the loud racist. That's the person who, you know, say it loud, I'm racist and I'm proud. But this smaller group right here, and I don't think she got percentages walled off, but I'm just going to assume just because it's 4 of them. Well, see, she don't got percentages properly walled off here. But
it can't be an even 25 split.
It's not an even 25 split, but this little space here probably represents 10% of the total space. That's probably
right.
You know, about fair. So she's, in her mind, 10% of, I guess 10% of white people are violent racist. You know, let's examine that one. 10% violent racist.
Prove it. I mean, seriously, at this point, with all this data, you realize, like, I was born in 1981, and according to the FBI, that was the year the last recorded lynching took place. So, like, I need you to prove this argument with verifiable data, is all I'm saying. Maybe they really are, and I don't know it. But if you prove it to me, I'll accept it.
You see, where I'm at with it, I think 10% would fall in. I would put 10%, maybe 10% in, even though I don't experience that, but I'm just willing to say 10% loud racists. The percentage that's violent, it's so hard to quantify that, because even when you look at the numbers, you know, of violent interactions between black people and white people, it's hard to quantify. Okay, was this just a bar fight, or did he attack this person because they were racist, because he was racist? You know, it's hard to quantify that in the data. So it is difficult to pin down how much violence is based off racism. You know, if somebody, I don't know, if somebody does some type of violent assault on somebody and take their stuff, and the person happens to be a different race, okay? Let's just say a black person does a violent assault on an Asian person and steals this shit. You know,
those numbers are tracked by the FBI, you know.
I know, but we're just talking about a violent assault on somebody and taking their stuff, and the guy who did the assault happened to be black. The person who was assaulted happened to be Asian. We can't tangle that up in some Asian hate. Like, no, he probably was carrying a bag that homeboy thought he had a PlayStation 6 in it, and he knocked him over the head and took his PlayStation 6. That's not Asian hate. That's I wanted to jack a PlayStation 6.
No,
so that's I'm saying all that to say that's why hate crimes and race crimes can get confusing when you try to track it in the data. But go ahead.
Well, as a concept, I disagree with the whole concept of a hate crime. Ultimately, you're punishing people for thought, and then you're probably punishing people twice for one crime. So, like, if I assault you, I should be punished for assault. If I assault you and I don't like Asians, I shouldn't be punished because I don't like Asians. So now you're punishing me for having bad thoughts. I don't care for that line of thinking.
All right, well, let me challenge you on this, okay? If I if let's just say if I'm hiding out, if I'm at a bar, all right, I get into an argument with somebody. I'm from Michigan. We got into an argument over Michigan versus Michigan State, and had a hell of an argument inside the bar. And then I'm pissed off. I'm gonna say, let's say I'm a Michigan fan. Michigan lost to Michigan State, and I'm pissed off. And this guy I was arguing and talking shit to the whole game, he started
says
talking.
this. He says this.
And this is why white people deserve reparations, because we have to hear this shit.
and then you guys get into a fight. Who gets the hate crime? Who gets the hate crime for that? Like, come on. I don't like going down this road of trying to pick out the most minute details of a person's emotional makeup. Like, no, listen, you punched him in the mouth, 3 weeks in jail. I see you when you get out.
All right, but you don't think there's a difference between somebody who punched somebody in the mouth over an argument between Michigan and Michigan State, or somebody who just hid out in the bushes waiting for a random white person or a random black person to walk by so you could punch him just because he's black or just because he's white? You don't see a difference.
I think the law allows for that difference when it comes up to things. I think the concept would be called mens rea, where it's like, now we're getting into your state of mind as to how this happened. Like, so if you go out and get into a fight and kill somebody, you didn't plan on killing a person that day. You didn't wake up with the intent. So that's why it'll be like manslaughter versus actual murder, or, murder one or whatever. I think these kind of I think the same idea applies here. Listen, and let me start from the beginning. I don't know that you should be punished for not liking other people. And I don't want to start setting up a situation where I can legally punish you because you don't like the blacks or the browns or the yellows. I don't care for that logic. So to keep it fair, if two guys get into a fight, I'm only punishing the physical reality. I am not trying to get into your mind and say, oh, well, you deserve more time because you're essentially a bad person.
I get that 100%. I get that 100%. And it gets tricky when I understand just saying, okay, you hit somebody in the head with a baseball bat. If that's worth a month in county jail, then it's a month in county jail, regardless of whether it was an argument over a football game. But somebody is a bigger menace to society if they just say, you know what, I'm about to just sit outside this bar with a baseball bat and hide behind this truck and wait for the first black person to walk by, and I'm just going to randomly knock them in the head. That person is a bigger menace to society than the person who hit somebody in the head with a bat over an argument that they got into.
That person, you most likely punished them for some kind of terroristic act, not necessarily a hate crime. That behavior is terroristic.
What's the difference between hate crime and a terroristic act?
Hate is an emotion, and emotions can never be legal or illegal. Terrorism as an act is a specific it's a specific set of motivations. He's doing that to create a certain climate. I'm not trying to get into your emotional state. I want to be as objective and factually based as possible. And I just think when we start getting into the details of hate crimes, you get away from logic and reason at a certain point.
Understood. Yeah, call it a terroristic act if somebody is just randomly picking people off or randomly hitting people with baseball bats because this person was shorter than 5'6" or taller than 6'8", or was light skin, dark skin, white skin, or walked with a limp. Whatever the reason are, if you're targeting people because they're something and you're attacking them because of what they are, then you consider it a terrorist act. But when you start talking about a hate crime, you're talking about a person's feelings and emotions, and then now we start. Okay, understood.
I mean, look, just to drive the point home.
That's a fair distinction.
Ladies, you don't want a guy like me to have this kind of power, because I would tell you that abortion is a hate crime and look you square in the eye. What are you gonna do now? No, I'm dead serious. Abortion is a hate crime. Your move, ladies.
It's my body, my choice.
You hate babies, you evil rat. Hate crime. Yeah, let's go. Hate crime. You hate babies. You clearly hate babies. That is why you had them sucked out of your body and dismembered in a surgical process. Was that, you're going to tell me that's an act of love and kindness and care? No, you hate babies. You really want to play the hate crime game? I'll bring up some hateful behavior, but we can't do that. So let's not.
All right.
Part of the KKK, you know exactly who I'm talking about. This demographic uses their privilege for change. They self-educating to unlearn their own racial biases. However, they don't center themselves. They're not white saviors. And usually the only time you hear them speaking about race and racism is when they're calling out other white people's racism or racial biases. It's important to note that these two demographics will oftentimes use racial slurs and or say something incredibly racist in private settings. And these two demographics, especially this one, will turn a blind eye when they do it. Just because you don't engage in overt racism does not mean you still don't have any racism or racial biases to work through. Please consider that before you say.
All right. My conclusion to this is that but per what she's saying, all white people are racist except for the small 10% that agree with Jane Elliott. Basically, she just laid out roughly 90%. She just said basically 90% of white people are racist. That's my general conclusion of what she's saying.
Yeah, I can't imagine 90%. I mean, listen, all right. If 90% of white people are really that racist and life is relatively relatively okay from Black Americans at this point, I think those are acceptable numbers.
Are you saying that life is, if I understood what you said, right? You're saying basically life is okay for Black people right now. Black people are doing okay. And so if 90% are racist, then oh well. Was that what I gathered from what you said right there?
Yeah, more or less. That's how I look at it. You got to be practical about these things.
Yeah, see, the way I look at it is, I mean, it's obviously racist people, but I think the reach is the attempt to they understand that racism is dying off. So she tried to lump in there like a damn near a 80% microaggression rate. You said basically it was she said it was 10% violent races, another 10% that would I guess fall within the same category as the violent people. So 20% are either loud and or violent races, and then there's another 70% other than the Jane Elliott portion of it, another 70% that are basically just walking, talking microaggressions. So that's pretty much my summation of it. That it's the microaggressions that has everybody charged up. So that way they could just basically say everybody is racist. No, you're not doing nothing racist, but you're not acknowledging your privilege, and you were quiet when old Uncle Johnny said some racist stuff at the Thanksgiving table. That's basically what they're charging the majority of white people up with on that one.
Bernard, I think the other day I remember hearing you talk about older Black people and their weird political / racial opinions. And I remember there was this guy, he was like the security in this building I used to rent, like space from, storage space. And when, you know how you walk in and out of a place, you get friendly with people. And so we would talk a little bit sometime, and we got to talking politics, because like I would be walking in the building listening to something, and, Trump would be on in the background. And so, that kind of stuff gets people looking at you. And so we start talking politics, and he's a diehard old Democrat dude or whatever, believes in the whole racism narrative 100%. And I asked him one time, how much racism do we have to fight? Like, what's an acceptable level of racism for you? And this motherfucker said 0. I'm like, oh God.
I've heard that too. I've heard
like how?
No, I've heard somebody double down on that one 10 times harder, if that's a thing. I know an individual who literally said that as long as there's one racist white person, then white supremacy exists.
And doesn't that give white people an immense power level? Like, you just broke my power scanner. Like, dude, how much power are you giving white folk that it only requires one of them to not like you? Just ruin my day.
Yeah, and that's more or less where I come from with this. Like I'm not giving nobody power over me. That's my biggest pushback against the whole racist narrative. I mean, listen, there are some things you could examine and you could say, okay, that was, that ain't right. That situation wasn't right there, or this situation here needs to be rectified. But the magnitude of it that some people go with, I'm like, no, like, dude, like you was a grown ass man, dog. Like, quit making it seem like some other group of men are just over you, stopping you from doing what you got to do. And in the event that somebody is, you're still a man. You got to fight and overcome that. It's like, but the reality is, once you start really fighting and trying to do what you got to do and accomplish what you got to accomplish, you find out that everything that you said was there blocking you is not really there, or it's not like that. Or you may just run into, you might run into a stumbling block on the way. But the crazy thing is, and I just watched, I was halfway watching it. My woman was actually watching it, and I was like just in the room doing other stuff. But it's like a series. I think it's on Netflix, or I don't know if that was Hulu. I don't know what it was. Basically about the people that invented Google Earth. Basically, they didn't call it that; they called it something else. But they got jacked. Somebody stole their stuff, and they lost the lawsuit. Not to, spoiler alert, but yeah, they shit got jacked. And I'm sitting there looking at, the level of the cutthroat nature that I see what white people doing to other white people. And I'm like, man, if it was some black people that created that and invented that, and then some white people would have took it, the whole story would have been about racism. But really, it was about capitalism and business. So it's a dog eat dog world out there, and losing in that dog eat dog world, you don't get to just cry and be the victim. It's like, yeah, like I'm not with that. I'm not with that. I'm about fighting the fight, and damn it, fight it to the end. And when I talk about fighting the fight, I'm not talking about the fist in the air, fight the power. I'm like, no, it's we free. We're citizens in a free country. Like, get out here and compete and win. Like, that's where I'm at with it. But so no, some people will try to, wrap that up and say, oh yeah, you're cooning. But no. And I say this as somebody who ain't, like, I see if I was like worth like $50 million sitting on a mountaintop, and then then it would sound condescending. I'm still somebody pretty much in the race. I haven't won yet, but God damn it, I ain't about to complain. I'm about to run. Shit, like that's where I'm at with it. But
that's how I take it too. I know we got to move on to the next clip, and I just want to say though,
go ahead and say what you got to say, because I got to find the chart. I got a dying laptop here, so just go ahead and say what you got to say while I step off.
But my whole position is somewhat similar to yours in that I think the cumulative effect of all of this overhyping racism and blowing different arguments out of proportion, basically you've weakened the Black community. You've made us less competitive, you made us less dynamic, and you've made us less self-responsible. I don't know that we can actually trust ourselves to be all the great things that we think we are. We have to get back to basic stuff, and we've been ignoring, the basics of what it takes to be successful, and the basics of what it takes to just even have a functioning family dynamic. Like, we have too many conflicting opinions on what it takes to, have a successful functioning family dynamic. And I think a big part of the reason for that is we've gotten so distracted with all the petty race arguments and just different theories of racism and the history of this and that, instead of focusing on the things that matter. I remember being on Art and the Styles panel a while back, and I raised this question, and I stand on this question to this day. If I go to one of these pro-Black university courses, your Black Studies program or whatever, how does that benefit me practically? Once I learn all this knowledge, can I build a better house? Can I design a faster car? Can you get to the moon graduating a Black Studies program? Real shit. If you graduate a Black Studies program with honors, with the summa cum laude, whatever the Greek words for the smartest nigga in the room is, you graduate Black Studies programs, your ass will never get to the moon. Never. You're gonna be in the projects with all other Black Studies majors.
Damn. Nope. That's not true. You know what you get to do once you graduate and summa cum laude, or the smartest nigga in the room, once you get all of that, fully graduated Black Studies major, you know what you get to do? You get to teach other people about Black Studies.
True. No, you're not wrong. I've been making this claim, like, you guys are creating your whole little artificial economy here, where it's like a feedback loop of nigga shit. You go to college to learn all this nigga shit, and you can't get a job after you've mastered, nigga shit. So what do? You go back and teach nigga shit, and you create social programs that keep the nigga shit at a tolerable level, so we can steady farm it and create more programs. Like, this whole thing is false, bro.
Whew. Damn. No, that was good. That was deep.
Nah, I've seen it. I've worked in some of these places. Like, I know what's really going on the ground. It's bizarre sometimes. But anyway, I don't want to get too far into it. I know you got another clip to pull up. I need to run upstairs and grab something. Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back with you.
All right, yeah, go ahead. Take your time. Do what you got to do. We got 145 people in the building. Make sure you hit the like button. We're about to excuse me. We're about to pull another one up, so stand by. And there's one that we're pulling up. Okay, shit, I didn't even want to do this one. I don't know what to do with this one. I don't know what the hell is going on with this either. So I'm about to lean on Hood Conservative and see where he go with this one, because it's looking like I don't know what to make of this one. But shout out to everybody in the building.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I've noticed something about women when it comes to this Ketanji thing, and it's not giving me a lot of faith in the sister girls.
Oh wait, no, okay, I do remember. Okay, this was weird. It's weird because she's in a church. That's the only reason it's weird.
You think it's weird? You haven't been watching what's going on in churches lately. Remember, you had what was that, Dr. Thunder, I believe. He was kind of like a somewhat of a religious figure, and I asked him flat out, what about wokeness in the church? And he's kind of aware that the church is going into weird places now.
Oh no, yeah, Dr. Thunder is aware. He own it.
Yeah, because when you start looking at it, it's bizarre, man. I did a whole video. Like, I think President Biden said trans people are made in the image of God. So I'm like, oh, pictures of Moloch. Now I did a whole video like, bro, I think these people are praying to a different God at this point.
Let's see. Let's roll it.
Senator Blackburn, she was a Republican from Tennessee, who asked Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, what makes a woman a woman? And that whole line of questioning angered me, I must admit. She asked her, could she provide a definition for the word woman, as if she did not know, being a woman herself, what a woman was. So Judge Ketanji Jackson, in her wisdom, said, I'm not a biologist. All right, did anybody clap when she said that I'm not a biologist? Because Ms. Blackburn's decision to ask the question on gender was not connected to any political case coming before the Supreme Court in recent years. And that usually is the tradition of the line of questions that they ask for these hearings. It was political motivated for the midterm elections. And so in my estimation, it was horrible at best. But let me move on. What was scary to me was that the men would use a woman to ask another woman this question to try to make a mockery of women. I felt that this was wrong on air.
Now, I've been noticing something. This isn't, limited to Black women. Obviously, it's a woman thing across the board. But in the Black context in particular, this is troubling. Black women are going to sell out the community for the sake of womanhood. We're watching it happen in different cases here, but she knows full and well what a woman is. And if you're not offended by the concept that a woman at her level of government, at her decision making authority level, she cannot define what a woman is, that does make me consider that the definition of woman will be legally, changed in some radical way going forward. But she doesn't care about that because Black woman. You're willing to sacrifice your own intrinsic womanhood because Black woman. You don't care what this does to the community going forward because Black woman.
Okay, what I gathered from it is really just a spin move. She was trying to say that okay, every question, the questions that I'm here to ask or answer are all right, this dude is gone. Hold on, wait, let me just let's formally punt pass and kick him up on out of here. I heard enough. I timed out one of his channels, and then he came back in another one and just called you gay. So that we gotta throw him out. You gotta throw him out. All right, he gone. All right. All right. So now we back at it. Now, okay. All right. What was I saying? Yeah. So it was a spin move. She's trying to basically say, I'm not a biologist. I'm here to ask legal questions. You asked me a question about biology, so I'm just declining to answer a biological question in a courtroom. She's trying to spin it as if that's the reason why she opted not to answer the question. Like, don't ask me a question about biology. I'm a judge. That's the spin move that they're going with. And this is spin. It's go ahead.
You can't run from it forever. I understand and acknowledge the spin move, and to a certain degree, it was effective. Obviously, it got her past that moment, and she's confirmed now. But legally speaking, the biological definition is irrelevant. Law has to determine what law is or is not. Whether or not, we gonna exist by pure biological rules is irrelevant. And you know why I say it's irrelevant? Because on the books now, there are misgendering laws in certain places in New York City, in California. You can be prosecuted for, quote, misgendering a person. So already the legal definition of what a woman is or is not is in question at the very least. It's right. Not a resolved issue. You have to decide this at some point. Not you. Let me not say that. We as a nation, she as a Supreme Court justice, will have to decide what is or is not a woman at some point in the future. So if she had just said flat out, look, this case is going to come up and I really don't want to answer, that would be more acceptable. I don't care for that either, but that's a more acceptable political spin move. But to be like, well, I'm not a biologist. Nah, you're blowing smoke.
Yeah, you can't. Okay, so yeah, it's basically saying you can't spin move out of it by saying, when I said she spin move out of it by saying I'm here to answer legal questions, not biological questions. I looked at it as this is what the this is what the chick on the screen is trying to spin it as. But I think Ketanji fully understood that is a legal question that she will have to decide on. So you're definitely right to point that out, that she will have to make a legal decision on what a woman is at some point. So yeah, she can't spin out of it. I'm talking about the spin that the woman on the screen is doing. But yeah, that's a weird dynamic. That's a weird dynamic. And that's where we're at. That the Supreme Court is going to have to rule, potentially going to have to rule on what's a woman and what's a man. So there's going to be a case that's going to make it to the Supreme Court, where that's essentially, and weird, as they always say, weird cases make for bad laws or whatever. It's going to be like that, it's going
Right.
to be
Well,
like that.
what if I joked around about this issue last night? I don't know if I sent you. I don't think I shared this one with you because I saved it for my show last night. Do you know? You know Cracker Jacks, the candy, popcorn and peanuts and stuff.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Cracker Jacks are trans now. It is now called Cracker Jills. And a black girl named Nevia was the face of the new switchover. She did a whole commercial. She's like singing, I think, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. She like rewrote the song to make it a trans version because, Jack and Jill and all that. You had to introduce the girls word in there. But yes, Cracker Jacks are now Cracker Jills. Black women are the face of ruining everything. What if a black woman is the face of legalizing pedophilia? What if a black woman is the face of lowering the age of consent laws? Like this is the thing I'm wondering. What if this black woman gets in here and now she's the deciding vote on all that weird stuff that Disney wants to do to your children?
All right. Now, in the name of fair journalism, you said that she did Cracker Jill. You said she's trans, or did they?
No,
just
I'm calling it trans because it was Cracker Jack, and now you're Jill. When a person goes from being Jack to being Jill, it's typically a trans maneuver. Cracker Jacks are now a trans product.
Nah, they just kicked a Jill. They just fired Jack and hired Jill. I don't think Jack had a transition. I don't think that's what happened.
You don't know that Jack transitioned. It's not polite to ask Jill about her past. No one is allowed to ask questions about this. It's inappropriate. You'll lose your job.
It's inappropriate to ask. That's true. However, we don't know if Jack transitioned to Jill or if he just got fired. And then they hired Jill. We don't know. But it's inappropriate to ask.
That's right. Don't ask, don't tell your Cracker Jacks and Jills. Now, someone in the chat, Feminine Melanin, is saying it's a Cracker Jack and Jill. Jack is not gone. Maybe I'm wrong on that one because I listened to the commercial and I didn't hear the word Jack at all. It was just Jack. It was Cracker Jills. They just straight up called it, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jills. Like, that's literally what she said. Jack, it was not in the commercial.
That's funny.
But I'm sorry. What is a woman?
I'm looking at Ben Shapiro. Is this video? I want to see what Ben Shapiro had to say on that. He got like a 6-minute video that we're gonna pull up real quick and probably just play it straight through. I am very interested in what Ben Shapiro had to say about Cracker Jill.
Let's go for it. Yeah, man, Cracker Jills. Listen, I come here to warn you about the horrible things. What was that saying? You will live to see man-made horrors beyond your comprehension. Cracker Jills, bro. Cracker Jills.
Angle and in every sense. Merriam, when I looked at it, Merriam-Webster defines woman as an adult female person, distinctly feminine nature, womanliness, whatever that is. But
what do you mean, whatever that is? All right.
I really, really needed to dig more into this and look at what is a woman, okay? As I look for strong women and what makes women strong, I found this. So I want to say, Miss Republican, strong women ask for help when they need it, just in case you did not know. Being strong doesn't mean you have to do everything by yourself. Some women know that. You know how to ask for help and know how to say when you need help along the way. Miss Republican, I'm going to help Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson today. Strong women have self-love. The strong woman appreciates her body and her mental capacity, whether or not they measure up to society's standards.
Now, this actually a continuation. If you zoom out and scroll down, this should be a part 2 to this, I think. But the crazy thing is, if you understand what this woman is, she you realize millions of black women every Sunday sit in church for about an hour and a half and listen to some version of this speech right here. This is what Black church is now. This is why I'm glad I stopped going years ago. I was never that into church. I had to find my own appreciation for the Lord. But the Black church is a rough place, man. There's too much of this going on.
Yeah, well, okay. I remember back when I used to go, and when political season would come around, and I remember it would go something like this. He would assure everybody that they need to vote Democrat, but when it came to like gay marriage, which I didn't have, which I didn't and still don't have that much of, I still don't have a problem with it, even though, you know, I've heard some compelling arguments from people. You know, shout out to, you know, I heard some compelling arguments, but I still don't really care. I still don't. I have a I don't care mentality when it comes to gay marriage. But
when you say you've heard a compelling argument, do you mean compelling for or compelling against? I don't understand which way you mean.
No, I mean compelling again. I said I'm compelling against. I've heard compelling arguments against it, but you know, I still generally don't care. That's where I'm at with it. I have a I don't care approach to it. But the church is against it per what their book says. So it was interesting when I would be sitting there in church, and then they would trot out some Democratic politicians that would come up, and they would say blah 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 blah, and then you know, the pastor, even though they're not supposed to be, you know, political, but or whatever, but he would, you know, pretty much more or less say, yeah, vote for these Democrats. And then he said, but he would throw in there, don't be a single issue voter, don't get bogged down on the gay marriage thing or the abortion thing. He would throw that out there, that because he was well aware that, okay, we're the godly Christy people, but we're voting for abortion in gay marriage. So, but it was like he would like sweep that under the rug, you know. But it seems like right now it's almost like they're getting, you know, they're changing the tune to where, you know, they're basically making a case for it, not a swept under the rug case. They're making an out loud and proud case for the stuff that they used to try to sweep under the rug when it came to voting Democrat. That's what I'm that's what I'm noticing.
I had this clip. I don't know if I can pull it up. I think I saved it on my phone. Maybe I did, but basically I was going to do a video on it. And you know how sometimes we try to make these standalone videos, it's like, I don't know how to get the idea across properly. So I just killed the video halfway through. But basically a woman did a prayer to the God of pronouns. It was like it was almost like the Lord's Prayer, but she prayed to the God of pronouns. It was bizarre, man. Like, you got to watch this stuff and just, it's like, you got to be high for this or something. Like, this is not the real world. I can't believe this is the real world. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can find that. But yeah, this girl in, I think it was somewhere in the Midwest, and it kind of made a few news sites, but the God of pronouns. And within the prayer, she went on to say how, like, you know, God knew, you know, with what's his name in his multicolored robes? Who was that? What was it? Joseph in his multicolored robe. There was some famous play and a story about that. But basically trying to say the multicolored robe was like, you know, the gay rainbow. And it was like, yeah, even then God knew. And I'm just listening to the prayer. I'm like, yo, they're about to trans the whole Bible. By the time it's all said and done, the whole Bible is going to be a trans documentary.
Oh man. But so this is the next, I guess, the end of what she said. I don't know, it looked like it might be the same thing, but you said she continued on saying some other stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a continuation of the clip.
Okay. Miss Republican, strong women learn from their mistakes. I don't know what you do, but that's what we do. We make plenty of mistakes. We acknowledge our mistakes, but we rise to meet the challenge of self-improvement. We work on ourselves, and we acknowledge that we don't know everything. And so I need you to know these types of women on today. You needed to know what a woman was. You needed to know what makes a woman a woman. These are the things that, some of the things things that makes a woman a woman. And so I'm going to answer for you because we acknowledge that Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is not a biologist, but she is a superwoman. She is an intelligent woman. She is a strong, determined woman. She is a poised woman. She is a cultured woman. She is a Black woman. She is a phenomenal woman. And so I need you to know who it was that you were talking to on that day. As I reflect on you needing to know who it was you were talking that day, I'm directed to the women of the Bible. Oftentimes, they did not know who they were talking with or who they were sitting in the presence of. And oftentimes, just because a person is a woman, we assume.
Yo, somebody in the chat says she got Lawrence Taylor hands, bro.
Man, I was trying not to go there.
She got Lawrence Taylor hands. Oh man, she is mean on the pass rush. Oh god.
I was trying not to go there. I saw all that from the start. I was like, I'm not going. I'm gonna let her.
Bro,
I said I'm gonna let her live. I'm gonna let her live.
Then walked in here looking like the man of the year.
I tried to leave it alone, but yeah, she's just not even just the hands. It's like the way that she just is overall just built. It's like it's like yeah, I'll go ahead and say I thought it was a man at first. I thought I was like, okay, he didn't send me something to some trans preacher, and then I listened to her. I was like, oh wait, no, this is a woman. And I just said, I ain't even bringing it up.
Shout out to the minister, man. The minister Jab said it first. He said it best. Black women be having way too much trans masculine energy. Like it's just something going on here. Y'all need to talk about this amongst yourselves. We can't fix y'all.
I mean, she looked like a whole damn South Park character. Like I'm like, come on. Let's roll it.
Assume that they are not someone of importance, someone of value, someone of worth. But I want to tell you that women are valued, and I value you. I want to tell you women are important, and I recognize your importance. Women carry and nurture so many people on today and pour into so many others. I celebrate you on today for doing that.
All right. I do want to see what Ben Shapiro said about the Jack and Cracker Jill, not Cracker Jack anymore.
Yeah, Cracker Jill.
Let's go. Yeah, I do want to see that. So I'm gonna shout out to Lakeith in the building. He says they even copy how black male preachers talk. No originality. Let's see. Thank you for that super chat. I do appreciate that. Hold up. One moment. Hold up. Wait. Where we at? There we go. All right. This is, I believe, Ben Shapiro talking about Cracker Jill. I'm predicting he's not going with your theory about it being trans. But we're gonna see.
I don't know. I haven't watched this one.
All right. Yeah, let's see.
I will notice also that the left, which has been suggesting that if you oppose the hormone replacement therapy for children or transgender surgery, this means that you are killing trans kids, is the language they use, that you're killing trans kids if you don't want kindergartners indoctrinated in the idea they can be a member of the opposite sex. Suddenly, they're very sensitive about the use of language. So, number one, if you have been using that sort of language, I have no use for you complaining about the use of language like groomer. Number two, if people are saying that you are grooming children politically, you are grooming children politically. That is not the same thing as grooming children sexually. But the baseline notion that you're talking to kids apart from their parents because the parents are the enemy and you are the source of their sexual knowledge is creepy and weird. At the very least, and it is politically motivated, which is to say that it is perverse.
Can we stop for a second?
That's angle number one. The left is trying to say, well, now that
here we go. All right, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want to go too far anyway. But I want to raise an issue. I haven't seen anyone and I know this is way outside of Black manosphere's even content, category, but I haven't really seen much people from the Black manosphere or much Black people in general against what's going on when it comes to Disney and in Florida, the Don't Say Gay bill. I don't know where Black people stand on this. I know there's some obvious political figures that are openly on the right, but I don't know about, any major leaders, in general of Black American, pop culture that are making or taking a stand against this whole grooming thing. And so I want to raise the question now, where does the Black community stand on this issue of grooming? Because I'm just not seeing the action. We're not rioting, we're not marching, we're not protesting.
For what it's worth, I do know that I saw a Jason Black thumbnail about something that we're going to talk about today. The Disney, the lady who said the not so secret agenda, the not so secret gay agenda in Disney movies. I think I quoted her accurately, unfortunately, but she so I did see a Jason Black thumbnail on that, but overall
I sent you that clip. We have that clip for today.
No, it's on the way. It's probably like the third or fourth clip we're gonna look at. But yeah, you raised a good question. What do Black people generally think about that? And what I'm finding out is that no matter what it is, if it's coming from Democrats, Black people will exercise their right to remain silent on it. That's just what it is.
Which is why I asked the follow-up question, and it's I troll, I joke, I jest, but I'm dead serious. Are you willing to sacrifice your sons to fight white supremacy? And I don't just mean send your son off to a war. I mean, are you willing to sell your son's booty hole to fight white supremacy?
Shit. Okay.
Those are the stakes, my friend. Those are literally the stakes. No one wants to address it. No one wants to talk about it in this way. But what are you going to do? You going to fire me? I want you to answer the question. Are you willing to sacrifice your son, your Black son, to fight white supremacy? And I think quiet as kept, a lot of Black women have quietly made that deal with the devil.
So when you ask that question, you're basically saying to be in the liberal fight on the left, that Black people that are there, particularly Black women, they're in their mind, they're fighting against the white power, white supremacy structure. That's essentially what they're doing. But in doing that, in using liberal democratic political power to fight against that structure, one of the casualties in that war is going to be your son being in a dress, and they're willing to sacrifice. They're willing to sacrifice that in order to fight whatever structure they think that they're fighting. That's the argument, correct?
The patriarchy, the white supremacist patriarchy. I know it's brutal math. I don't do level 1. I don't do algebra 1, bro. This is advanced life calculus.
Man.
All right, let's go, Ben.
Yeah. I just gotta. That's. You raise a good point. It's like some of the ones that are just really just ranting and raving about it. Like, just take like a Jamila Hill, who, as far as I know, don't got no kids. I think she did recently get married, and she rants and raves about racism and all of that, and she's staunch down on the left. She's pretty hardcore with it. I wonder at some point when it comes to when she sees stuff like the like the clip we're going to play about the other black chicken is that's some Disney executive or something talking about how she tries to implement a not so secret LGBTQ agenda in every Disney movie. I just wonder, at some point, does a Jamila Hill say, wait, hold on, not my son, hold on, not like, God damn it, I'm with you, sister. We we both black women. We vote the same way. We think the same way on a lot of stuff. But hold on, I would rather it not be a not so secret gay message and when I take my son to see Toy Story 5. I would just rather that not be. I mean, it seems like it just seemed like at some point they'll just be like, wait, hold on, like let's. It's like no pump the brakes. It's like this. Like if it's coming from Democrats, it's like, okay, we just got to go with it. We just got to close our eyes and open our mouth.
Well, in that particular case, right? If you're Jamel Hill, you can't be friends with Gabrielle Union anymore. Yeah, Gabby sold her sons. Well, Dwayne's sons, rather. Dwayne sold his son. They are fighting the power. And you can't be friends with her no more if you're Jamel. Like that is the way the power structure works. And women hate to not be the cool kids. Women will die trying to get into the cool kids club. You kick them out that cool table, it's war. It's hell. Somebody got to pay.
All right.
It'd be true. The vast majority of parents and Americans agree that we shouldn't be sexually indoctrinating small children. But if you use the word groomer, then you're the real problem. No, you're still the real problem, even if the use of the word groomer with regard to, for example, sexual abuse of children is over the top and misstated. Political grooming is indeed happening. Okay, so that's number one. The second thing they've been doing is they've been saying, the right is declaring these culture wars on corporate America for no reason. So Brian Stelter is doing this for Kane. He said, the right has decided that Disney is the top issue. No, you guys did. You guys did. Here is the timeline. The timeline is Florida passed a bill. The bill is very obvious. The bill says something very clear. You're not allowed to sexually indoctrinate small children. You guys went to Disney, and
a bill was passed saying you're not allowed to sexually indoctrinate small children.
Yeah, all right. You're a little bit behind the curve, right? So it's been called, they're trying to troll it, but the left is calling it the "Don't Say Gay" bill. So you might have heard of it in that context.
Oh, I heard of it in that context. I just haven't heard of it explained the way he I guess. Right. I'm assuming he explained it more accurate to what it is.
Exactly. The bill is written relatively neutral. Technically, even people on the left have tried to troll the actual wording of the bill. And according to the wording of the bill, you technically can't talk about straight relationships, which is just fine. Don't talk to my kid about what you and your wife do after school. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with it on both sides.
That is it. So, okay. So the, wow. All right. So the "Don't Say Gay" bill, because I heard about that. I didn't, like I said, I'm a little behind. I'd be behind on some of this stuff. So I heard about the "Don't Say Gay" bill, and well, shit. I don't know if we got time to pull it up. So it's a bill, so we can't just sit there and read it. I know it's probably like 40 pages long, and the part that matter is probably stuck in the middle somewhere. So we ain't like we could pull it up and read it. I do want to see the exact wording of it, but I'm trusting Ben Shapiro's wording of it is that you're not allowed to sexually indoctrinate kids, meaning you're not allowed to but long story short, you're not allowed to put a bunch of gay stuff or probably use the terms like, this particular character is gay. Like, for example, and I like the Pixar movies. Disney Pixar, they do a great job. They make they make kids movies that are watchable for adults or adult movies that's watchable for kids. I don't even know which one. I just know I enjoy watching the Pixar movies. Grew up watching them with my kids, and now I'm still hooked. They've aged out of them, but I still watch it. Shit, I mean, I like some of the. I like
boycott Disney. It's just a suggestion, but listen, we got.
I know. Well, they starting to lose me. But no, the Pixar movies are real good, but the one real good one, Onward, and I talked about this before, how it was a randomly gay character in it that They didn't say gay, so I think that's where the whole "don't say gay" bill. They didn't mention that she was gay, but they mentioned that she was gay in the sense that it was a stepdad or a soon-to-be stepdad in the movie, and he was having some problems with one of his, soon-to-be stepsons, and then the cop, because it was a situation, he got pulled over, and the cop started talking to him and helping him. He's like, man, and it was a woman that when you glance at the character, and granted, I mean, these are weird, wacky Disney characters in some fictional fantasy land, so when you looked at it, you couldn't tell at face value if it was a man or a woman. And then it, I'm saying it because I don't even know what kind of creature it was, but it started talking.
Disney indoctrinated you.
Listen, hold on, just let me. They got me. You. It was a great movie. God damn it, it was a great movie. I enjoyed it, but they slipped it in. They slipped it in. So she got out the car. I didn't know, you couldn't tell, what gender she was. It was built like a man, walked like a man, but had breasts and had the voice tone of a woman. But it was so, and she had said something like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean and what you're going through with your stepson. My girlfriend's daughter, blah, 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 blah. And so I have a similar experience. And then they said, okay, hey, thanks. And then the main characters went on about their business, and this gay character who just trotted on the scene just to say, yeah, I understand what you're saying. My girlfriend had a similar problem with my girlfriend's daughter, just disappeared from the movie. And it was like, wait a minute. That's when I snapped out of it and saw that, like, hold on. They just plugged that character in there just to say, hey, kids, look at me. I'm androgynous. I'm a gender ambiguous character who's yes I or look at me, I'm a woman, I'm with a woman, and I'm helping her raise her daughter. Okay, bye kids. And then the character disappeared from the movie, and then the rest of the movie just went on with the regular plot. I'm like, wait a, it's like they just randomly stuck it in. And they randomly stuck it in a movie that I was enjoying. Like, I was seriously enjoying the movie. But they
thought, when we play those clips from Disney, we got to play the clips in a bunch because it's bad, man. It's bad.
Wait, hold on. When you said we got to play the clips from Disney, you mean like a play a reel of all the
clips that I sent you from the Disney employees. These are the producers. We're not talking about people who sweep the floor and sell the popcorn at Disney World. Mm-hmm. These are the people who produce the content. And so a couple of them, Black women, the ones I singled out for today are some of the Black women, and just listen to how they implement what you just witnessed. So you described it from the viewership side. Now they're going to describe it from the production side, and it's sinister. It's evil.
Yeah.
It's wicked.
Yeah. Oh no, got you. Yeah.
Oh, that Disney is the biggest employer in the state of Florida, and so you yelled at them and you said, if you don't say something, we are going to just keep reporting that you're not saying anything. And so you cudgeled them into making a statement, and then you cudgeled Disney into going further than that and holding an all-hands town hall meeting in which members of the upper echelons of Disney overtly said that they wish to mainline gay propaganda, their words, into children's programming. And then we noticed. So if anybody brought Disney into this fight, it's you jackasses. So here's Brian Stelter blaming the right for the left cudgeling corporations into going woke.
The talking point on the right is about protecting kids from the dangers of the Walt Disney Company. Really. But Disney is just a stand-in. It's just a symbol for something bigger. A conservative backlash to growing acceptance of gay and transgender people. A conservative fear that traditional beliefs are being trampled on. And there are entire networks that program this fear, and many politicians that react to it.
Huh?
Go back. I saw you scanning ahead.
I was scanning ahead because
there it is. That's the Jack and the Jack and Jills.
Yeah, I do want to get to that. So yeah, that's the part I want to get to.
Sorry.
Yeah, because what they're talking about, we're gonna talk about this further. So, but yeah, this part I want to see.
Right, it's weird, isn't it? Like Cracker Jill. Okay, anyway, here's a song, the Jill, which frankly feels stupid marketing. It provides you with no win, but they all feel like all these companies feel like they have to do this because they know, number one, that they'll get attention. And number two, that the left will cheer them for their progressivism. So now we have Cracker Jill, which frankly just sounds like a racist lady from like the 1950s who's yelling at a black kid, Cracker Jill. Right? And it's weird, isn't it? You're like, Cracker
Shapiro
Jill.
is not
Okay,
funny.
anyway, here's a song about Cracker Jill. The woman singing, by the way, is black. So this has nothing to do with race.
Take me out to the bar.
He tried to clean it up.
Take me.
He told a bad joke, then tried to clean it up. And
It's like, I wasn't being racist, by the way.
and here they go. They're getting me again because she really can sing and she's cute. So I'm already, I'm with it. Bring on the Cracker Jills. Bring on the Cracker
You're getting
Jills.
indoctrinated, bro. And this is what I meant.
Bring it on.
They're going to use black women as the face of ruining everything we ever loved.
To the crowd. Buy me
Ruining baseball here.
Peanuts and Cracker Jill. No one can stop you if you have the will. So let's root for a girl's dream.
Wait, that's tennis. That's the wrong sport. That's hockey. That's also the wrong sport. That's basketball.
Yeah, I didn't even catch
that. Any of the people playing here are going to be girls? I guess there are a bunch of women in the background who are throwing around a baseball. That's the only baseball. Cracker Jill.
This is what happens. Look. See, I was not wrong.
The next generation of athletes everywhere and get your special edition back. Okay.
So when Cracker Jack becomes Cracker Jill, I stand on what I said. This is a trans product, and I can no longer support. My children will not be eating Cracker Jills. Cracker Jack is dead to me.
Okay, there's an element of coded language, and we've been covering that. So join our mission to support the next generation of athletes everywhere. They didn't go full gangster, but
Leah Thomas. What was the name? Oh, Fallon Fox. Fallon Fox, I think, almost gave a chick a concussion in the MMA ring. The next generation of female athletes are men.
Yeah, okay. What I'm talking about when I say the coded language, and we've seen this because they're talking about, oh shit, I saw something I should have sent you, or did you send me that? No, shit, that was damn it, what's her name? I can't. Abba and Preach. I don't know how I forgot their name. Abba and Preach covered something where it was called they want to destroy female spaces. Basically, it was some trans. It was basically a panel like what we'd be seeing on Black YouTube or in the Black Manosphere. It was a panel of a bunch of people. It was like 10 of them on there, and they were basically, somebody was pointing out that if trans women, who biologically born men, go into women's sports, they're going to essentially take over a woman's space. They're like, do you see that as a problem, that you're going to take over and dominate, or that there will be no women's space when it comes to sports or anything competitive that takes physical ability, that the men are going to come in and dominate it? And they basically doubled down and basically was saying, oh, we don't care. It was like the early stages of it. Like, it hasn't gotten to that point yet where they just got to look in the camera and say, we don't care, we're willing to shit on women for this whole trans athletes, because he basically said, hey, the women are women, and if they're women, then it is what it is. This is what women are, and so we're not gonna, we don't care. So and the language that they use is all type of athletes, or athletes everywhere, or athletes from everywhere. But so that's what I'm saying. They didn't exactly go full gangster with this, but it was a subtle, it's a subtle nod to it, nod to it in the language.
We're not doing algebra 101 here. This is advanced life calculus, right? You have to understand that the trans issue there are no female to male trans people who want to fight as a heavyweight boxer. There are no female to male trans people who are trying to, play football. All the male to female trans people, all the sports activity in the trans world is occurring on the male to female side. The female to male side is dead. But when it comes to male to female, That's where the action is. I remember years ago, Turd Flinging Monkey was the first person on YouTube I heard to even play around with this idea, basically saying that for men to get full rights, they're going to have to become women. And the beauty of it is you no longer have to have any surgery. You really don't even have to dress like a woman. You can just state, I'm a woman. I'm a masculine presenting transgendered lesbian. And you can fly under the category, and that's going to work. Then not too long after that, a year or so after that, I remember Zero brought the idea to the manosphere.
No, he brought it. He trolled me for like 2 hours on that shit.
He was not wrong, and it was not really a troll. This is why, even when I'm only half trolling, I'm trolling you with the reality of it, though. That's what it is, the reality of it.
It became a troll because whenever he got to the point to where he started winning over some aspects of the audience, and I was like, okay, I understand your point. Then he was like, and if you have to put on a dress, like, I mean, well, how much do you want to take back power? And I was like, man, get the fuck out of here.
No. And then did I not introduce the term trans patriarchy?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, yes. The trans patriarchy. Listen, patriarchy always wins in the end. And ultimately, you are watching what these people, TFM and then Zero, they explain this idea, and now it's kind of bearing fruit. It's happening in the real world. The trans patriarchy will eventually assert itself. We're seeing it happen. And what I'm kind of warning against for men, anyway, is this is what you have to expect. This is what you have to accept, rather. Female authority will inevitably lead to all this gender stuff, this weird gender stuff. And then you'll get to a point where that female authority now gives way to the trans patriarchy. And once it gives way to the trans patriarchy, sooner or later, we can have a good old fashioned fight and just have regular patriarchy. And then we can start this whole cycle again.
You see the end. You see the end goal.
I feel like giving a Dr. King speech. I may not live to see the mountaintop, but I know my people will get there. Freedom at last. Freedom at last. But that's really how things are shaping up, though.
God damn. All right. Shit. Give me a second. I'm back here having some technical difficulty. Wait, no. Actually, no. This is perfect because where are we at here? Right here. This is perfect. This is perfect segue. Because this is what we were talking about with the Disney thing. And this is so yeah, I'm just about to roll this one. I'm about to shit. Oh wait, no, I was already zoomed. All right, here we go. Wait, hold on, before I do that, I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, I'm trying to do 3 things at one time. That's why I was a little bit of dead air. But Mr. Tobert in the building with the channel super chat. He says, "Afternoon, gents. There's a video of a student mixed asking Alan West, a black man, if he identifies as black, and then begins to display disrespectful behavior toward black leadership." There's a video of a student mix asking Alan West, a black man, if he identifies as black and begins to display disrespectful behavior towards black leadership. Yeah, send me that video. Send me that video. Send it to me. Email it to me. I want to get the. I don't know if it's on subject today, but yeah, that's something I'm curious to see. Something I'm curious to look at. So yeah, definitely send me that.
Yeah,
but
I'd like to see that too.
Yeah, this is the video, and thank you again, Mr. Tobert, for the super chat. But this is a video that basically talks about, we were talking about how I did the whole soliloquy about watching the Pixar movie and how they smuggled in a gay character just to come on the screen and say, "Hey everybody, I'm gay, I'm a woman, kind of look like a man, but I'm a woman, and I got a girlfriend, and I'm helping raise her daughter, and we're happy, yay." And then she basically walked off, and then the main characters went on about their day, went on about the rest of the movie. That thing that I saw with my own eyes in a movie that came out in 2018, actually. Movie came out in 2018. I saw it. And what she is about to describe lines up exactly what I saw with what I saw. So here it is.
It's like, I love Disney's content. I grew up watching, all of the classics. They have been a huge, informative part of my life. But at the same time, I worked at small studios most of my career, and I'd heard, you hear whispers. I'd heard things like, oh, they won't let you show this at a Disney show. And I'm like, okay. So I was a little sus when I started. But then my experience was bafflingly the opposite of what I had heard on my little pocket of Proud Family Disney TVA. The showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel like I felt like it was,
wicked, just the wickedness.
I guess something must have happened in the last they are turning it around, they're going hard. And then all that momentum that I felt, that sense of I don't have to be afraid to let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background I was just wherever I could just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm Proud Family. But I just was no one would stop me, and no one was trying to stop me.
All right, there it is. Before I pass it to Conservative on that one, Black Guru strikes in the building. He says the Vikings called it Ragnarok. The Vikings called it Ragnarok? Okay. Yeah, the Vikings called it Ragnarok. Everything is destroyed and then begins all over again. Yes, we are on the ascend of Ragnarok, of a Ragnarok cycle. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Appreciate you coming through. Appreciate everybody who's supporting the stream. All right. There it is right there. Heard it right there from the horse.
Can I call out a supporter as well? Because I just got a Cash App that I actually have to call out. Studio Ryu LLC just sent me a cool bean on the Cash App, man. He just sent me $100 Cash App. He says, you got me cracking up on the Saturday Garden and keep going, bro. Thank you so much. Everybody who's listens to my show, I'll tell you all the time on my show, I greatly appreciate whatever support, especially when I get a giant. He sent a cool bean on the Cash App. Yo, good looking, man. Thank you so much for that.
Shout out to him. I do. Hey, listen, that sometimes when me and Hood Server do these, if I remember, I drop his Cash App in the chat room because I do want y'all to support him as well. So again, I know the moderators, I know Iron probably already dropping the links to his channels in the chat room, but also go ahead and drop your Cash App in there as well. People want to definitely support you. They can do that because that's cool stuff. That's cool stuff. Whoever dropped that 100 on you, and that just reminded me to check my Cash App as well. Remind me to check my Cash App as well. And somebody just sent me, I believe, $10 Cash App. Let me hold on. Who we got in here? I can see it. My phone, I don't know why my phone be acting slow, but come on. It's coming. Here we go. Shout out to, that's actually Feminine Melanin, aka Jada LaRue, just sent me a $10 Cash App. Said content this month, have some good coffee on me. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. All right, let's get into this. So we just saw a layout there of the not so gay Disney agenda. The not so gay Disney agenda. And E Capone in the building with the $5 super chat. I do appreciate that. Always coming through, dropping 5 on it. Do appreciate you. All right, so let's go ahead. What you got on this one? What you got on this one?
Well, like she said, it's a not so secret gay agenda. So right away, for everybody who was on the right for the last, I don't know, forever, that this kind of low-key vindicates the people on the right in general who've been complaining about the encroachment of LGBT culture, to be, polite about it. But essentially what you're doing, and I've kind of described it in these terms too, because they don't reproduce in the traditional sense, they have to grow their ranks somehow. And the best place to do that is with children, and they don't have their own, so they got to start with other people's kids. And so, like, even how you describe that moment of watching the movie, and just for a brief moment, it made homosexuality not only cool but helpful. Like they were very strategic in how they introduced the concept to not just you as an adult watching who can understand, but for children, the question and the comparisons and the contradictions with reality will never really get addressed if you're a kid watching this. And now we have 100% undeniable proof that, one, it's not an accident. It's not that, a couple of gay people came in and you just guys thought it would be a great idea to maybe have one gay character. No, you think it's a great idea to change the narrative of everything to support gay characters. This is a problem.
Thank you, Lion917, for the $5 super chat. He says, if you are following DC Comics IG page, look at their latest post. This lines up perfectly with today's subject. I'm actually going to try to look that up real fast. But I do got a couple important announcements here. Trail Bentley in the building says, for the not so beautiful bean footage. Right on. For the not so beautiful bean footage. I appreciate that. And shout out to my main man, Joe Ethereal. Joe Ethereal in the building dropped a $51 cash app on me. Shout out to Joe Ethereal. I do appreciate you dropping the $51 cash app again. And shout out to, again, whoever, who was the guy? Let's say his name. Who's the guy that dropped 100 on your cash app?
Studio Ryu LLC. He's on my channel a lot. He's been around the manosphere a little bit, but thanks again, bro. Wow, you made my day anyway. Yeah.
That made it all worth getting up on a Saturday morning to do this. Made it all worth it. But okay, let's get back into it now. To some degree, I didn't even need to see this, because again, I saw it with my own eyes. I literally saw it with my own eyes, and the way that it was done, it was in such a deliberate, calculated way to where it was like it was no talking around it. I mean, the movie that I keep referring to, which was a good movie called Onward, the Pixar movie. I mean, it was centered around a family. The dad died before the story even started, but his death was a big part of the journey, because it was about his sons, and they were doing some little magical daring to do to try to bring them back. I mean, it was a cute story, and but but in the midst of that, in the midst of this normal family story, that they went out their way. They went out their way to smuggle in a gay character. So I could tell, and it's to the point to where, like, it's hard to organically do that. It's hard to organically do it, because in order for a character to be gay, they have to, like, formally announce that the character is gay, or they got to go out their way to have some Disney animated character in a situation where they're where the gay characters are interacting in a way that tells the audience that these two people are in a romantic relationship with each other. And and there are romantic relationships in Disney Pixar movies.
That's the key right there. That is why it is dangerous and subversive. Mm-hmm. Now, listen, of course, like, whatever. This isn't even about gay culture per se. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that gay people love each other. That's not what I'm trying to argue here. But to compare the gay lifestyle to the heterosexual lifestyle, the heterosexual lifestyle is literally what gave birth to romantic culture. I think it's subversive in and of itself to attach romance to homosexual culture.
Well, the only thing I was trying, when I said a romantic relationship, because
I know what you said, but that's it.
I know, I get it. But I know their argument would be that we're not depicting people in a sexual way. But it's like, but what they're trying to do is some type of acknowledgement that, okay, these two characters who are of the same sex, they're fucking. But
Right.
So they're
Right.
they're trying to convey the message to kids that these two people are fucking.
No. But see, it's more dangerous than that. See, with adults, you can say these two people are just fucking, like, because that's adult stuff, and adults will understand it, and it won't mean that much to the psyche of an adult. But for children, you're not going to go there because children don't even understand the base animalistic nature of just fucking. But what children do understand is they love each other. They really they're together. Like, oh, that's cute. Like, the children will accept it in a different kind of way because you cleaned it up specifically for that purpose, and that is why I'm calling it subversive and intentional.
Yeah, but they they outright admit it. It's it's intentional. That the intentional part is just non-negotiable, but subversive, yeah. I mean, it's all of that. One thing. Oh, damn! This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to circle back to the why. The why when it comes to what you very intelligently laid out, the notion that gay people, okay, they can't have kids, but so other people, I mean, well, technically gay people can have kids. Let's just make that clear. They can biologically have kids, but a gay relationship doesn't produce kids. So
There you go.
That's your reasoning for coming to the conclusion that that's why they are doing with exactly like what the woman just said on the screen. They're trying to indoctrinate. They're trying to grow their ranks through other people's biological children. One thing that I've always found weird, and this is where the why comes in. Why would they be exactly interested in growing their ranks, their numbers? I understand why they would want to normalize their lifestyle or normalize what they are. I understand why they would want it more normalized or accept it. I have a thing about making sure I'm still manning somebody's argument. I understand why
that's
they
respectable.
I understand why they would want their lifestyle or what they are to be more accepted. I understand wanting social acceptance, but why? But the growing the ranks of it, I don't understand why that's needed or necessary. Like, you could be a small minority and be accepted. But why then? Why do you need to grow your numbers through children? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Is there alcohol or something in that cup? You got two cups there. Is one of them an adult beverage? Because I had a dangerous idea a minute ago, and you might want to take a drink.
No, I got no alcohol. I need to get some alcohol here.
I know it's a little early to be drinking. I'm just joking.
No.
But no, seriously though. All right. Have you considered the possibility of even if it's a subconscious, at this point, I don't even know if it's subconscious. I do think it's a little bit more in the main psyche, but there is a element of revenge motive here, I think, playing out.
All right.
This is a revenge of the gays.
Like revenge of the nerds, revenge of the gays.
Listen, I know, I'll cringe. I know, it's so cringe. But really, doesn't it make sense that you grew up put yourself in the gay person's mind for a moment. You grew up where your desires, your proclivities, your want to express yourself and your full self, however that may be, it was denied for most of your life. It was repressed. If you go back far enough, you got beat up for being gay. Like, literally, Smear the Queer wasn't just a football game. It was a thing people really did. Yeah. And you now have a point. You're at a point where not just individually, but as a group, your group has power. Your group has positioning. Your group has leverage. You literally have the straights by the balls. You think they won't squeeze?
Damn. I
Dangerous ideas. I know. These are dangerous thoughts to play around with.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I mean that answers that answers the why to grow the ranks. It's yeah, revenge. They I don't know. I don't know.
It's hard to really consider what evil truly is, or what evil is truly capable of. It's hard to think about these things because most of us want to believe otherwise.
It's acceptable to say, okay, somebody who grew up gay, especially 80s, 90s, maybe things changed a little bit in the 2000s, but I'm thinking about somebody our age. I'm almost 40. I think I forgot if you're a year younger or a year older than me. I forgot, but we right in the same range. We're right in the same range. We both at about 40. Shit, what was I going to say? Okay, somebody grew up in our era. Yeah, being the weird, awkward gay kid in elementary school in the 80s, middle school in the 90s, or even high school during that time. Yeah, that was that
60s and 70s. Go back even further.
Yeah, no, I'm just going from our time, our lifetime, our generation. And I looking at the woman on the screen, that's essentially she's probably our age. So yeah, growing up and not having that social acceptance and okay, I mean, and not having that social acceptance, even though I don't know if the gay girl was beat up or bullied, but definitely the gay boy. He was definitely beat up and bullied and whatnot. It's sort of noble to say, I want gay kids like me to grow up in a world where they don't have to go through what I went through. That's going back to my more democratic, more liberal days, where I was supportive of their fight for acceptance. Because I think that's where it started in a good place, but then it gradually moved over to, like I always say, they fought for their seat at the table, and then they got their seat at the table, and now they snatching mics from everybody and flipping the fucking table over. It's like that. That's essentially what has happened. But I think it was I think the most I think some of them are probably either they started out in a place, and there may be a percentage of them that's still in a place that I want acceptance for the next generation of gay kids coming up, because I don't want them to go through what I went through. But they're doing it at the way that they're going about it takes away the still manning of their argument, if you understand what I'm saying. The way that they're going about it makes it to the point to where, okay, do you accomplish that social acceptance by sticking randomly gay characters in Disney movies? Is that how you accomplish that goal?
How about this? You get a group of guys, gay gentlemen. You get a group of gay gentlemen together. A lot of them can sing. They form a choir. The San Francisco choir of gay men. Some of these gay men may have bad records, but never mind that. And you get these gay men together, and you have this gay choir sing. And you know what song they're most famous for singing? We'll convert your children. And then you want us to believe that it's not all a part of a strategy. This is not revenge.
I still hate that you played that clip over here that day. Is that the one? Ain't that the song you just
We'll convert your children? It's real. It's still on the internet, and you can pull it up and play it if you need a little bit of reassurance about just how bad things are. But I'm trying to explain to you that this is not an accident, and I'm only hypothesizing. I'm just spitting an idea out. But when you ask about motivations, I mean, yes, there's power, and then there's the, I want my kids to be, safe, and I want my thing to be the norm, and I'll accept that as more base, explanations. But underneath it all, and even if it's a subconscious psychological thing, I firmly believe there is an element of revenge narrative playing out here. This is a revenge plot, revenge of the gays. It's real.
You know what? I started to email you and to say, all right, when we put the clips together for this show, no gay shit this week.
We're talking about Disney though.
almost told you that. Like we got. Oh man. You
well, that's another thing too. It's like when you talk about woke stuff, sooner or later the gays have to be discussed.
That's true.
How do you not?
That's true, and it's so funny to me that the merging of what the pro-black aspect of wokeness is merging with the gay aspect of wokeness, and it's all all in one cocktail, and I just it's interesting. It is interesting. All right, let's moving right along. Oh wait, I think this one is
I know there's at least two Disney clips. I don't know how many I sent you.
Oh wait, hold on. It's a continuation of the same conversation?
Well, it's a different segment of the same conversation, a different black woman telling her how I made Disney gay story.
Oh, okay. We can go so that way we can stay sort of in sequence. I'll try to find that one. The problem with white. Okay. Wait, not that one. I don't think that's the clip. That's one of another cute girl that
the problem with white people thing, and that one's like it might be copyrighted, so you don't necessarily want to play that without pausing a lot.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to dig up the other potential Disney one. Uh-oh. I don't know. Okay, damn, you sent a lot of them. Hold on. Okay, this is it.
All right. I was gonna double check my own side. You got it?
Yep, it's coming.
All right. That's what I was telling you last time. Like I know when I set up for my own show, like there's literally tons and tons of footage to go through, and it's like you got to sort through it all.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Coverage, but the context is also who is pushing it, what their record is, and what the history is in Florida. You can go back to the 50s, to the Johns Committee, where the legislature was actively put together
Just a real quick side note. Anybody who's deaf, I'm sure they can read, which means online. I don't think you ever need a guy signing. You only need that guy in person at live speeches because you can't put words on the screen in real life. So I don't know why you need a signer for an online thing where there's captions, subtitles. Anyway,
speaking of weird connections that the LGBT and the left, and how like you just sort of laid out how the LGBT has merged with pro-blacks. Somehow or another, they threw in the handicapped and the disabled there too. That's why the guy is on the screen for no other reason than to shout out to people with disabilities. That's low key what they're doing. They're like virtue signaling, like, yeah, all the deaf people, I got you.
It's a virtue signal. That you summed up what I said in just one phrase. Yeah, they're virtue signaling. That's essentially what that is. But all right.
Task force whose whole job was to root out civil rights workers and any homosexuals in the university system. They destroyed lives. Literally, people committed suicide behind the relentless attack. And then you have Anita Bryant, and many of us are of an age to remember Anita Bryant's Save Our Children campaign, which was premised on the same ideas that undergird this bill. And because of her campaign that equated being gay with being a child predator, she was able to pass a ban on gay people being able to adopt, a marriage ban, and then she took that nationwide. And so when we react to this, a lot of us are reacting from the pain we experienced of being isolated and stigmatized in school. But we're also reacting from the reality that when they can erase you, when they can
That was
criminalize
key
your
right there.
existence,
That was key. This is what I mean about the revenge narrative. These are their lives. They're responding, like she said, to the real moments in their lives where it was rough for them. And I'm trying to be as charitable as possible in describing this because, they're people and shit hurts. I get it. But that doesn't mean you're not doing what you're doing now.
Right.
when they can demonize who you are, the next step is to criminalize you and take your kids. And we're already seeing that in Texas. So the slippery slope between these ugly messages, emanating from legislative leaders in our state, and then amplified by our governor, whose spokesperson immediately began calling everyone who opposed this bill groomers, aka pedophiles.
Yeah, I had so much fun on my stream the other night. The whole political left is having a heart attack over this groomer word. Because the politics of it is so uncomfortable that anybody who tries to defend the left or anybody who tries to attack the Don't Say Gay bill, or what she was talking about in Texas, where they're now gonna, if you try to get your kids a trans surgery, you're gonna be prosecuted in Texas. So that's what she meant about now they're coming after our kids, right? But from the right perspective, it's like, no, you're all child predators. You're all doing harmful things to children. And every time they try to defend what's going on, they always come off sounding kind of creepy. At the end of the conversation, it's just like, no, you're just trying to groom kids. Shut up, pedo.
Wow. I'm sitting there reading this Disney activism partner Nadine Smith, Equality Florida, tells LGBTQ employees that Governor Ron DeSantis and Christina Pushaw want to erase you, criminalize your existence, and take your kids. A wild conspiracy theory that Republicans want to kidnap gay people's children.
Coverage. But the context is
I don't even I was trying to read.
They're gonna steal your kids. It's not that. No. Just don't get your kids a transition surgery. You would think that's a comfortable medium ground. Like, if you don't have your son's, Franks and beans removed, then we won't take your son. I think that's a respectable compromise. I mean, am I not merciful?
No, that is. I mean, well, basically, if I understand it right, because they're essentially saying that it's might as well it's child abuse to have your kids' junk cut off. So if you do something like that, yes, we will come take your kids from you for attempting to cut their junk off. That's pretty much what Republicans are more or less saying.
Am I not merciful? What's wrong with that?
No, I think that's fair. That, I mean, that's been my biggest thing with this. Leave the kids alone. That's truly been my biggest thing with this. Let the kids be. What grown people doing is what grown people are doing. If somebody wanted to had a junk cut off, put a dress on, be with who they're going to be with, and under what terms and conditions. That's. I'll leave it alone. I'm very liberal when it comes to the adults, but when it comes to the kids, that's when I'm like, wait, hold the hell on now. That's if it's anywhere to meet in the middle, it's on is where it comes to the kids, But yeah, that is wild. That is wild. That is wild. But no, you got anything else on this one? Anything else you want to say on this one? Because it's one of the chicks. I don't know if that was Raven Simone. I don't know who the hell it was.
Probably.
I was talking about the Don't Say Gay. I was about to call it Tia and Tamara, but no, that's definitely Raven Simone. Damn, she's getting old.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying that in like the manosphere context, how, you know, how we talk about, you know, older women, younger, hotter, and you lose value
No,
with
it's just
age
weird
and
that
children. I'm talking from the perspective of I remember the Cosby Show, and you know,
yes, she went
that's
from that to this. Wow, what the hell? But you know what? Hollywood and Disney. Like that's literally that explains it. That's how she went from that cute little girl to now this adult, you know, grooming adjacent weird chick. Like Hollywood and Disney that's what you get.
oh,
You
so
know how many kids came out of the Mickey
leaning,
Mouse Club and said something happened to them?
Okay, so I didn't even know you was talking about that. I thought you were just leaning back in on the calling them all groomers if they're against the
No, I said she's groomer adjacent. I don't think she's a groomer. I just think she's like in a circle of people who are probably doing things to kids that she doesn't really want to acknowledge, because you know that's how it goes in Hollywood. And Disney, listen, I'm joking but not joking because it's dead serious. Disney has a dark history connected to their employees being arrested for indecent acts with minors.
Well, unfortunately, any business that's centered around kids, those businesses, they tend to attract people who are, you know, they tend to attract people who are into kids. I hate to say it like that, but that's what tends to happen. That's what tends to happen. You know, that ain't even that. You know, so stepping outside of charging up Disney right now. And I talked about this before, how when I coached basketball, and I hate that I thought like this because it was, you know, but I guess it was just, I don't know if it was protective instinct or I don't know. But I know when I coached basketball for my sons. Why was I there? Because my sons like basketball. I love basketball. I coached my sons in basketball all through elementary school. I stopped right around the highest grade level I coached was like in middle school, a sixth grade boys basketball team. But when during the volunteer stages of it, you know, where you just was signing up and volunteering and you know, you're coaching third graders, and you know, most of the coaches were parents, or it was like maybe like you know, a kid who let's probably just finished high school, was in college, you know, like basketball, probably played for the local community college, and you know, he liked the kids. He probably had a little brother, who knows? But either way, you know, it was the so it was parents, and then it was the younger kids who like to volunteer to referee and or coach because they loved basketball, and you know, so it is what it is with those groups. Then it was like another small percentage of coaches who was there. They didn't have no kids. They weren't a recently graduated high school student or college student, and they're coaching kids. And I'm like, you know, I would like be talking to them like, okay, so yeah, where's your kid? Which one is your son? He's like, oh, I don't have any kids.
So wait. He's like 45, unmarried, no kids, hanging around the park all day.
Got the weird haircut where you bald. You need to shave it all off and go bald, but he's still just letting it grow out on the side. The mustache wasn't quite right. Just something didn't feel right.
Does he drive a van?
Well, you know, you got to pick up the kids, and you know, the van was convenient. He's coaching. He got 10 kids to pick up, so of course he drove a van.
Right. Sometimes you need lumber for cages.
So it was so much stuff that I'm sitting there looking like, man, something ain't right. Something is not right here. But and then again, I hate to be charging somebody up. So, but it do make you think though, like any situation, because you know, for recreation basketball, you know, like 300 kids sign up. Okay, who's going to volunteer to sign up to coach? Either people who either love the sport, or you know, parents, you know, coaching their kids, or weird people. I mean, so yeah, that was so that was the thing. So it don't shock me when I hear about stories like, you know, all the Disney kids, the Mickey Mouse Club, and all when I find out about, you know, weird stuff happening there, and it don't shock me because, you know, it's if you're in the business, that's a bad word for it. If you're somebody who's what's the name for it? Minor attracted person or something like that. If you're one of them, what avenue do you take to get in the presence of children to where you could find one that's vulnerable that you could do something to? That's the route you take. That's the route you take.
I feel like you've been hanging around me too long. It's starting, these dark thoughts are starting to rub off on you, because now that's when you start to think about, wow, it's a revenge thing. Like you start to really get down the psychological road of it, because it's hard to put yourself in the mind of it, but that's the first step. Like, all right, so if you were going to go about doing this, what do you do? It's so cringe. Most people just don't want to go past that thought.
No, I was having that thought. This was a long time ago. This was like I was coaching basketball. Let's see, probably started around 2009. The last time I did it was roughly very recently. Very recently, probably 2019-ish. So yeah, very, very, very recently I was coaching basketball, but even back in 2009, I probably wasn't noticing it right away. But somewhere there, probably 2012, I probably was looking and was like, something don't feel right. This dude, if he ain't got a son, a daughter, or anybody, that he just looked like he just lurking around. Like he just was just hanging out, and then just said, "Oh, I'll coach. I'll coach."
No.
It's like
Spidey senses going off and stuff.
Because it always would happen every time. Okay, I don't even want to get into this. I don't even want to get into this, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, we always needed volunteers. And yeah. So anyway, that guy to just show up. You don't got a kid at the tryouts, just showing up to volunteer. Okay, all right. Anyway, all right. I'm moving on. But all right, let's see what Raven.
Yeah, I remember this clip. Yeah, she was tripping.
Okay, well, we'll set it up for those that came in late about the gay bill. Set up with the gay bill is actually saying what they're saying. What the don't say gay bill. What it's actually saying. What they're saying that it's saying, and the whole works. Before we roll her clip.
It's really short and straightforward, actually. I think someone put in the chat, the whole thing is like roughly 7 pages, but it's essentially for K through 3rd grade, right? So kindergarten through 3rd grade, you cannot have discussions about sexuality, period. Just, whether you're gay, straight, pan, all that stuff, you cannot discuss these things with your kids. It has to be, crayons and snack packs and stuff. You have to do regular traditional kindergarten stuff like they used to. And it's that simple. It's not a don't say gay bill. It's the don't talk about sexuality, period bill.
Yeah, I don't see why that would be a problem. Like if someone brings up, if a kid brings up sexuality in any way, shape, or form in the 1st grade classroom, I think even if you're talking about straight people, I don't think nothing wrong with the teacher saying, Timmy, we don't discuss that here, and then move on to talking about shapes and colors. Like I don't I don't see how that
if the kid insists on talking about these things, now you know something.
Yeah.
Like seriously, that's how that works. And I was kind of toying with this, dangerous idea again here. And just be warned, another dangerous idea incoming. But I was toying with this idea. I said it blatantly, flat out on my own show, and I covered this a couple days ago. But it's not me on the right. It's not us on the right who are connecting the LGBT to pedophilia. The dots connect themselves, bro. It just does.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah, and I don't be with you on that one. It's even, yeah, man. See, that's that one I don't like to do, even though.
Listen, the dots are just reaching out and connected to each other, and they're making up a picture all by themselves. All I'm doing is just showing you, like, hey, look at what the dots are doing.
Yeah. All right. Let's just roll the clip. Let's just roll the clip. but it would be a good look, a good move for gay people if they did say, if they came out in support of things like this, you know, that I think that would be the right move. Not that I'm trying to be their, you know, political strategist, but it would be a good move.
You see how the dots are just connecting?
No, that they should come out. No, they should come out against it. They
But
should be like,
they can't do it.
they should be absolutely 100%. Oh, a bill that's saying that no sexuality should be discussed at a certain age. Absolutely, in a classroom. Oh, absolutely. They should be like, I agree 100%.
Why can't they do it though?
I don't know.
All right, let's go.
I'm going to say this, and this is my thing. If there's a don't say gay bill, there should be a don't say straight bill because it's not fair. And there are multiple kinds of humans in this world. And you are ruining the psyche, the confidence of so many young children because you are discrediting their parents, the people they love, the people that raise them.
All right, hold on. Let's back up. Okay, so she's saying if it shouldn't be a don't say straight bill, it shouldn't be. I mean, if it shouldn't be a don't say gay bill, it shouldn't be a don't say straight bill. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, again, the bill is saying you can't talk about sexuality. Okay, does the bill say the bill says you can't talk about any type of sexuality, correct? Or no?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so what she's saying on his face is unnecessary.
They're lying. It's flat out lying. By calling it the don't say gay bill and then now acting as if that's what's in the bill, you're just lying. You're just doubling and tripling down on your lie.
Right. Because what she's describing is sort of what it already is. If I understand that right, what she's describing is sort of what it already is. So she's saying that if it's going to say don't say gay, which it doesn't say don't say gay, then it should say don't say straight. I mean, don't say straight. So it's a disingenuous. Okay, she's either disingenuous or she's ignorant. I know you're on the disingenuous side of it. You're saying that she's just outright disingenuous. She's lying. She knows exactly what it is, what the hell it says, and that's that.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you know, revenge is a subplot here as well, and it's obvious tit for tat. I mean, she's literally doing a tit for tat thing. How do you not add a little bit of a revenge narrative to a blatant tit for tat like this?
Yeah.
Bill, there should be a don't say straight bill because it's not fair. And there are multiple kinds of humans in this world, and you are ruining the psyche.
That right there is multiple kinds of humans. What are the other kinds of humans? I mean, because they're still human. Well, I mean, like, God, now, because yeah, really though, like, what do you mean by this? What are multiple kinds of humans? I need you to point these people out to me.
The confidence of so many young children because you are discrediting their parents, the people they love, the people that raise them, the people that teach them the manners when they walk into that schoolroom. So if you're not going to honor their family, your family shouldn't be honored either. So let's just make it even/equal, maybe. I'm going to say this, and this is my thing. If there's a don't say gay bill.
Weaponizing the notion of equality is, you know, this is psychopath behavior, by the way. You're trying to weaponize the notion of equality. But think about this for a minute. You are discrediting their parents, the people who teach them their morals when they drop them off at school today. What the hell have you been doing to Christian traditional straight parents, men and women, over the last 40 years? This is what they call projection, by the way. The thing that you are most guilty of, you accuse your opponent of it.
Wait, hold on. Say that last part again. I was reading a super chat in my head and they couldn't miss the words.
We should replay the second half of the clip because let her say it again. Right. What do you think they're doing when you're discrediting the parents of these people? Just you frame that in your mind when she says they're discrediting the children's parents. Most children aren't gay. I mean, most parents aren't gay. They're not in the gay culture. So by you promoting this gay culture, are you not in fact trying to discredit your arguably straight parents of your kids now, your students?
There should be a don't say straight bill because it's not fair. And there are multiple kinds of humans in this world, and you are ruining the psyche, the confidence of so many young children because you are discrediting their parents, the people they love, the people that raise them, the people that teach them the manners when they walk into that schoolroom. So if you're not going to honor their family, your family shouldn't be honored either. So let's just
ruining their psyche. So think about this. They know, Raven Simone knows, she acknowledges for a fact that when you go against the morals and the values of the parents that your kids belong to, you're damaging their kids' psyche. You know that for a fact. So when you try to indoctrinate all of this tolerance, you know you're damaging these kids' psyche.
Yeah.
You just said it. You just laid the argument out, and your pause game is perfect because that's the face of the woman who wants to talk to your kids about doing things to their butt.
I was going to wait for you to get done so I could acknowledge the pause. I paused it with that she turning into something. Oh my goodness. I know when I pause myself, I'll be making some weird faces whenever I pause a video on myself. But man, I caught her at a horrible moment. Like she turning into like the evil, the last boss on a damn video game or something.
No.
Like that.
You ever see those videos where they'd be like, we got evidence that this person is secretly a reptilian, and we're now here, watch the transformation. She's about to turn into lizard people right now, but she caught herself slipping. Is she gonna go back to normal? You know, when they get excited, the lizardness kind of pops out.
Oh man.
make it even / equal, maybe. I'm going to say this, and this is trend. People they love.
I'm like,
the people that raise them, so honor
it's like
their family. Your family shouldn't be honored either.
How did I pause her? Okay, here, there you go. She's starting to turn.
Yeah, reptilian. Red bone reptilian bitch. The fuck?
Okay, all right, I'm done. Okay, let me not. Oh man, that was horrible. That was horrible. Shout out to Sir Tice in the building with the $10 super chat. He says, as a Florida resident, hood conservative is spot on, but that shows you how deep the propaganda is and how people believe anything. Oh, unrelated. Today is my B-Day. Happy birthday to Sir Tice. Shout out to you. Appreciate you coming through with the super chat and hope you have a wonderful birthday. Your birthday fell perfectly on a Saturday. Go out and shoot, it's stuff. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't go out no more, but I'm assuming clubs are back open and people in there grinding and sweating all over each other and coughing and sneezing and back in full pre-corona mode. I don't know. I'm assuming the clubs are back in pre-corona mode. I don't know, but go out and have a good time, man. But shout out to you. Appreciate you coming through with the super chat.
Happy birthday, Tice.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. I mean, I know most things are in, pretty much how they were prior to Corona, but I don't know if the nightclubs are. I don't know that. I don't nightclub no more. But anyway,
I don't even want to go there. Like, I don't even want to start talking about this whole thing because that is so weird. Just one thing though, just what is it like to be the person who like is like quadruple vaxxed now? And you don't have to prove it anymore. Like none of that matters anymore. You took this thing 8 times and nobody even cares. They just shut up and sit down.
that person selfishly wants it to be, you got to show your card to to go to McDonald's, you got to show your vaccinated card, because everybody else shouldn't be able to just pull up and get a damn burger who didn't go through getting vaxxed like me. It's
like, oh, I know some people are just, they seething, they're just burning up right now, watching the world go back to normal.
Yeah. But no, most things are back to normal. Well, I walk into hospital employees, they still mask up. I can't think of what is affected by. I mean, what businesses still have some protocols in place. I think even at restaurants, employees are not wearing masks, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if waiters are wearing masks right now.
The few places I've been to, I noticed, it appears, I haven't asked directly because I don't really care, but it appears to be relatively optional, because some people will wear it, some people will not wear it. A lot of people will just have the mask down below their chin.
Yeah.
So like people are starting to get lax more in general.
Right. All right, let's see how this time. Oh damn, yeah, time is flying. We're almost 2.5 into this. We'll probably roll out one more. One more.
I sent you so much. I'm not even sure what else is coming up next. There's so much going on in the world.
Did you send me this one? But no, you sent me one. But oh wait, no, this one you sent. I might do something on this myself. This ain't got nothing to do. Kind of what we're talking about. Hold on, it's time to talk about how the alpha male podcast influencer is really just
yeah.
Conservative. You want to go ahead.
No, I was joking around with this idea for years now that because of the nature of criticism that comes from the manosphere, if a white man were to say these things about a black woman, he would be called like a right-wing white supremacist, yada, yada, yada. So in my mind, yeah, the manosphere, even the black manosphere, is a relatively right-leaning space. I know there's a bunch of guys who lean left in a lot of huge political issues for mostly racial reasons, but still, just when it comes to like criticizing black women, it's kind of easy to peg the black manosphere as a relatively right-leaning space. And so this video is somebody, a woman, I think a black woman, I haven't watched it in a while, it's kind of like a couple weeks old now, but I think in this video, the guy or the girl, whoever's speaking, they're explaining how, Kevin Samuels is like a right winger. And like, now that's going too far. That's going way too far. But, it was a funny video just the same.
Yeah, I guess we'll dabble into it. I won't say it's off. I mean, with the direction we ended up going, this sort of throws off.
We need a palate cleanse. This is a palate cleanse, bro. It's a good thing to do.
All right.
At this point in my show, we'll be like watching Brazilian beach handball or something.
My problem with
Stitch.
All right.
Stitch this and tell me what problem you have with Kevin Samuels on this platform.
My problem with Kevin Samuels and all those platforms like his, they talk like 18th century slave owners, and as black men, they really ought to be embarrassed. Yeah, it's time to have that conversation. Seriously, calling a woman high or low value based on stuff like her weight, her body count, the number of kids she has, that don't sound familiar? Polly, age 23 years, #1 plantation hand in Fair.
That's why. Yeah, this is crazy woke. This shit is super woke, because the connection to criticizing like women as far as like, what makes an attractive spouse, connecting that to slavery, like, wow, you don't get no woker than that.
All right. So I want to see her short, broke, beer belly, but don't drink beer man boob having boyfriend who she doesn't measure, who she didn't look at any of those qualities when she chose to be with him. I would like to see that dude, and I would like to know, I want to know that she views herself as a slave master for wanting the guy to have a certain physical stature, a certain amount of abilities, a certain amount. I'm just curious on that one. I'm curious if she considers herself to be like did she think she was at a slave auction when she was here's a nigger male standing 6'2" standing 6'2" and is a hard worker.
No, I got a clip. I forgot what movie it comes from. I think it's 12 Years a Slave, where the white guy is buying a slave and the other white guy's like, I assure you, this is a nigger of exceptional talent and ability. I was like, that's how I went, huh?
I wonder, do they feel like slave masters when they size a guy up to see what qualities, what attributes, what benefits he could bring to her life? I'm just curious.
Wow.
Because if I look at a woman and I would like her to be of a certain size, and no, I don't want her to have a bunch of kids or a bunch of baby daddies or a bunch of this, a bunch of that. If that makes me massa, I wonder does that make her massa? I don't know.
Listen, I could have so much fun with this clip because like I really get into the ideas and the weird questions on my show. I had a crazy question. I had a crazy conversation the other day on my show. Out of all the races, ethnicities, or nationalities, which one do you think is the hardest to kill?
What?
I know. I know. It's a crazy question. I just thought of it yesterday, and we were having a good time on my show. But it's totally neutral, and anybody can get it. The prize is up for grabs. All right. Oh, there's only going to be one race to get the #1 headband. And I'm just saying, out of all the races, nationalities, or ethnicities you could think of, which one is the hardest to kill? I would love to get your answer to that, by the way, Bernard.
Which one is the hardest to kill? Like a death match?
Right, just straight up combat. Yeah. And I don't mean death match, by the way. I'm just however you can frame it, whatever your answer is. I'm not going to limit you. I just want you to kind of answer the question however you can frame it in your own way.
God damn it, I'm betting on black shit.
All right, go. Listen, the Zulus were mentioned at one point. We had a good conversation about this. The Zulus did come up. Some people said the Vikings, some people were like the samurai, but we had a good time. We had a good time with it.
Well, see, now that's a different thing, though, when you start throwing in, technological advancements minus the gun, because that kills it. But it was somebody, I guess I don't know what gave these guys expertise, but they were doing a breakdown of whether or not a Roman, a Zulu
warrior versus warrior. I know that
versus a Roman soldier, and they put it through a simulation. And granted, the amount of armor that the Roman soldier had, I think he won 60% of the time, just based off, that the shield that the Zulu warrior had, they take, you throw the spear, the spear could more readily penetrate it, not easily, not consistent, because they remade all the stuff, they remade exactly what the different warriors used. And okay, let's take this sword and strike this shield and see what happens. They did that. They calculated it. I mean, it was actually really good. But when you throw in technology, that changes the game. But I was just saying, just two people just just barehanded, barefoot in a pit in a fight, and whoever defeats the other one in a bare knuckle brawl, that's who gets to crawl out of the pit, and the other man stays in. Like that, yeah, I would bet on black. But then you throw in technology, that's a whole nother ball game.
I know, we were just having it was just a funny conversation. I don't know why the idea popped in my head, but I was like, I got to do this on air last night. I just think it's an interesting game to play, though.
Yeah, but CP the trucker says this is some Debbie Thomas stuff. Wow, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Who's Debbie Thomas?
I have no idea.
All right. Okay.
You can tell us in the chat room who Debbie Thomas is, but we're going to roll the rest of this.
One that said high earning women are less attractive and career women are people to stay away from. All that reading, writing, and arithmetic is cool for free people.
I don't necessarily buy that. High earning women, less attractive career women are ones to stay away from. it doesn't make you more or less attractive because you have a job and make money. It don't have nothing to do with your physical appearance. However, there's correlation between the personality type of an ambitious, industrious woman who's that type of, balls out go-getter. See, I'm using masculine terms to describe it. She's probably there's a chance she's a little more masculine, a little more combative, a little more competitive, a little more those are attributes that help you rise up in the competitive corporate world, but those are also the same attributes that will have you arguing with your man all day about nothing and not giving ground and not giving an inch or not backing the fuck off like that. So that personality type is a personality type that, those attributes and characteristics more readily look good on a man. They don't look as good on a woman in a relationship, but they fit well for a woman in a damn courtroom, arguing for her client. That's all I'm saying. That's the more precise way to make the argument when somebody is talking about whether or not a corporate, successful, career-driven woman is less attractive. If she was fine before she got a master's degree, getting that master's degree don't all of a sudden make her doesn't make her face turn ugly. But anyway, all right.
People, but slaves, nah. It's in a woman's nature to be submissive. The slave's duty is marked out. He has no choice but to follow it. So my biggest problem, other than the misogyny, is that Fresh and Fit, Kevin Samuels, all these other alpha male influencers have decided that.
I hate that they just call them loosely just alpha male influencers. Like Fresh and Fit don't never say that they alpha males. Kevin Samuels don't never use the term alpha male. That's everybody don't just throw that term around, but the critics always try to say these so-called alpha males. I hate when they just. Anyway, I'm nitpicking.
While there is a literal revolution going on outside, they've decided that the best thing they could do for us and their followers is convince Black women not to be so masculine. They're Trump supporters and not even hiding it.
Stitch this and tell me what.
All right.
Yeah, that last part was over the top too.
Yeah, I don't know if you got anything else on that. Like that was the most shameful part for you, Hood Conservative. You're not even hiding that you supported Trump. You're not even hiding.
No. But I know Kevin Samuels. Did he vote for Trump?
He's definitely not a Democrat. He's definitely not liberal. I don't know who the man voted for. But I know he's criticized Democratic politicians, and he's done far less criticizing of the right. Let's just put it like that.
Well, because the reason why I even bring it up, and we're kind of using like Samuels as sort of a lightning rod, I guess, in this conversation. But the thing is, how long before they openly call the Black manosphere a racist right-wing space?
It's headed that way, but we'll get the label of, especially for shows like this, or the one that we did on Ketanji Brown Jackson. Is it Jackson Brown or Brown Jackson?
Oh God, I wish I'd have sent you the clip. I had this clip, and it's like, how you queue it up in your StreamYard bank, but I got the perfect clip of this church, and the pastor is like, say her name, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and then the crowd, they repeat it and they say her name, and he's like, say it again, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Like, oh my God, I can't believe the worship that this woman is getting right now, man. It's nuts, bro.
Yeah. No, we'll get the label coon. They'll shorthand it. They won't call it a right-wing racist group. They'll just more readily call us coons. And like I explained earlier in the show, to the degree that there's some racism that exists, my position is, as men, we need not be complaining about that. We need to beat it. And by beat it, I don't mean fight the power, the system, no. It comes down to economics. We need to win economically, and my position is there's nothing. If something is stopping this, in my position, is minuscule. I think there's problems culturally. There's clear problems culturally going on that need to be fixed at home, and we need to fight to overcome it. And complaining about the racism is not beneficial. As you pointed out earlier in the show, the person who goes and gets a degree in blackness, in a black studies degree,
They're not going to be astronauts.
That doesn't afford them that doesn't, grant them the ability to do anything in the world other than teach black studies. And then there ends up being more programs, more this, more it now has to be more highlighted racism, so now we can make more classes and more this and more that, so we could talk about the microaggressions, so we could talk about this thing and talk about that thing, so we can create more black studies majors. And now they got more government grants and government this and government that to basically operate, and they are creating they're creating jobs. I'll say that. Jobs are being created, but again, it's like it turns into a weird cycle, a weird circle, that once you graduate, like you worded it better than me, but once you complete the full process, it's like, okay, you have all this knowledge about all this history, about all this racism, about all this, that, and the other thing. And then it does turn into a then what situation. If it's not turning into economic growth, then all right, let me not go all the way there. I'm on a tangent right now. But Wizard X in the building with the super chat. He says KS is a Bush era Republican unless he changed. See, okay, I didn't know that. But anyway, Freeman's Journal in the building says KS has tried so very hard to stay out of politics. Make him address it, please. I can't make that grown man address shit. But no, he has touched on it more than what you probably think. But I don't.
No, I saw a comment in the chat just a second ago. It said someone was addressing me directly and said, go check out the conversation between ABL and Kevin Samuels, and that'll give me my answer. I had no idea they even had any interaction, so that is worth a look. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, they spoke before. I think ABL was actually called into his show before. I don't know to what degree they spoke, but no, listen, he's more on the conservative side. He's more on the conservative side, but his channel is not about politics, so I wouldn't ask or require that he really digs in on that. But I mean, it's hard to look at what he's talking about and say that there isn't some rooted conservative principles embedded in there. And so if you're a guy who's doing a relationship show and a lot of what you say is rooted in conservative principles, I think that's the extent that you need to acknowledge it. You don't got to go full political. I think not even mentioning who you vote for, but trying to get people's mindset on the path of, in the context of relationships, thinking more in a conservative context where I think that, I mean, for me that's enough. I'm not.
Well, whether his motives are like at the front of his mind, he's worried about conservatism. I doubt that anyway. I don't even think he thinks of it like that.
Right.
But what I do think is the ultimate byproduct will be a more conservative group going forward. So like if you look at that little incubator that he's kind of working on with getting couples together and creating relationships or whatever, if that grows and flourishes, even outside of his incubator, if that just sort of gains root, the byproduct will be a more conservative group of people. It's hard to be that liberal when you come from like, a good, strong family. Like good families don't really make radical leftists most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But no, this was a good I'm gonna have to keep this clip. I'm not gonna. I might have to. I can see myself doing a separate.
I know I sent this to you a while back. This wasn't a part of what I sent last night, was it?
Yeah, no. This was just thrown in the middle of everything.
Okay. Because this is like a couple weeks old now.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know if he meant to send this one in that group of clips that you sent, but I was like, yeah, this is one that. I was like, we might touch on it, or I might just use it for my show. Might just make like a little pre-recorded video on it, because it's a lot to unpack there. But
yeah, that slave analogy is deep.
Yeah, definitely. But all All right, we close it in on the 3-hour mark. We can actually wrap. Freeman's Journal coming back through with another one. Says KS promotes marriage. There is no way he can avoid politics forever. The black woke will want outright promotion of their agenda or else end soon. He's clearly not with the black woke crowd based off everything that he says. So I mean, I
think the prediction holds because that's the nature of the beast.
Are you saying they're basically going to come for him to they're going to come for him and do what?
Well, I'm not going to say anything like malicious. I just think the pressures will mount.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean anything malicious. I mean, I'm just talking from a perspective of what kind of pressure do you think they will or can put on them?
Access, offering you more of whatever it is you want. I mean, the game isn't new. You know what I mean? The rules of how to get people on your side aren't really a new thing. They just try to find whatever it is that you're into, and they give you more of it, and then you just do the things they ask you to do now.
Yeah, I could, yeah, I could see that, but I mean, put it like this. This is a good thing about this type of media expanding with everybody criticizing, whether they criticizing Kevin Samuels or Fresh and Fit or whatever. People coming up out of this space or people with similar views and ideals and perspectives, them getting that big decreases the probability that when or if somebody ever shows up and basically makes the sellout offer. If somebody is already that big, like that sellout offer has to come from pretty damn high up. You see, if let's just assume, let's just operate and assume that the people like Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, even Alpha Male Strategies, or whoever, they got platforms to where if you add up everything with the you start doing some pocket watching, add up everything with the Patreon support, private consultations, super chats, Google AdSense, you could run the numbers and add all that up. They're all probably millionaires or made close to $1 million in a year. So it's like the price to sell out becomes really, really high when you already making $1 million doing what you're doing. So that's why I'm not as worried about, what's going to happen when they come to him and they say this. He's in a position to say, fuck you. I mean, so that's where I'm at with it.
Yo, I will say this, and you're right. I'm not disagreeing whatsoever, but I would add that the battle is always internal and it's never ending. That's just the nature of life. And man, it's a human thing to sell out or not to sell out. I was having a joke. I was joking with some of the people in my Telegram group the other day. Every morning I wake up with a decision to make: to nigga or not to nigga. That is the question.
To nigga or not to nigga.
That is the question.
Yeah.
But shout out to Darth Low IQ. He sent me a $10 Cash App for the live stream. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I need that money.
And speaking of Cash App, somebody just hit me earlier on the Cash App end, and I forgot to shout it out because I stay forgetting to shout out Cash Apps. But who the hell was that? Somebody sent. Oh, okay, I might be tripping. I could have swore somebody sent another Cash App. Yep, somebody did. It's just taking forever to load up. I think Daryl 90210 sent, I believe, a $5 Cash App. I do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who's supporting the stream. Appreciate everybody who supported the streams thus far. But we my good friends, good people, we about to get up out of here. Thank you again, Freedman's Journal. I'll read this one again. He says, I would not be sure. Kevin Samuels avoids politics because he knows the nature of Black people in regards to politics. His audience being Black women is 95% Democrat. KS knows it. It's some truth in what you're saying. I don't know what percentage of his audience is still. I mean, I think he still has a lot of men. I mean, at least when you look at the super chats and you look at the comment section, the chat room going up and down, you see an equal number of men and women. So I don't know what his percentages are, but I understand what you're saying, but what you're talking about is him, like, he's kind of done already what you're saying. Like he hasn't came out and just done a show that's just strictly about politics, but he's talked about how the political left has ruined everything. He's talked about how the political left has created what he calls the modern woman. Like he's talked about that. He's talked about that in a context that matters, that's relevant. He's talked about it in a way that's relevant to his channel, if you understand what I'm saying. So what you're saying, he's already doing it. It's just not his day-to-day, thing. But he's talked about it. He's talked about he's talked about the damn Moynihan report. He's talked about how what welfare did. He's talked about all the father out of the home and how the next generation of women rocked with it, and how they said they don't need a man and they vote for the left and they get all the benefits for that. They get all the, how we live in a world where it's easier for women to live, thrive, and function without a man, but there's long-term side effects to doing so. There's long-term side effects to doing so, and he breaks that down in every way, shape, or form. And so the end result, in conclusion, is for the woman to get back on board with the man and follow the man and be by the man's side. And so I don't know what more you want him to do in that regard. It's like you're almost saying, no, I want him to do it in a way that will fuck it up. It's like that's almost like that's what you're saying. I want him to do it in a way that will that will cause them to get pissed off. I don't know. I don't think he should do. Well, I mean, he do say a lot of stuff to piss him off, but I don't know. Someone says that's Jackie Jack. Shout out to Jackie Jack in the building. She says if 50% of Kevin Samuel's audience is black women, the majority of those black women are Democrats. Yeah, that part is obvious. The majority of black people are Democrats, and that's one thing that I do like about this space, is that they hear a lot of ideas, even if people don't full blown flat out stump for the Republican Party. They do hear criticism of Democrats, criticism of the left, and just different ways of thinking. And that's important. That's what's most important to me, rather than not somebody goes full blown endorsing the right. Long as I see outside the box thinking taking place, I'm good with it. But all right, you got any final words?
Nah, this is a great show, man. Thanks for having me up once again. Gonna figure out what we're gonna do for next week. I'll get back to you on that one, but great show though. I'll catch you next time.
Yeah. All right, cool. And with that said, we are out of here, man. Hold on, just thank you again, everybody who came through on the Cash App, and everybody who came through on the Cash App Super Chat, everybody who hit Hood Services Cash App as well. Thank you to all of y'all. Thank you to everybody. Thank you.
Let me add one more thing though, by the way.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I need that money.
All right, I'm done.
All right, y'all. We are out of here. Peace.